What I was reading an article means is I was in the comment section on a reel.
I like the sound of broken glass.
Yeah, he had sent you down a whole life path where you were Dexter now, and you were the whole time you were like, I can't let my dad down. I can't let my dad down.
You know what I learned
Suffocate it?
yesterday about
Yeah.
fighting a fire? Not necessarily fighting it, but
That you can't beat a fire with your bare hands.
Bullshit.
it sounds like a good idea to do an office hours that's going to be in great detail about inventory management in 2 hours. I have 2 hours to prepare for this inventory management because if I don't do that and I plan for office hours next week on inventory
You
management,
won't do it.
You're not going to do it
I'm
till 2
not
hours
going to do
beforehand
it, but I'm
anyways.
going to think about it.
Right.
Is a blumpkin where you get a handy while you're pooping,
when you
or
get a
is that when you get? Okay, so it's not you're getting pooped on.
No.
No, you're getting domed up while you're.
I thought it was like a handy while. someone pooped on
Welcome
you.
to the 2A Procast, everyone.
Welcome to the 2A procrastination. Allah Ahu Akbar.
Oh man, it's just gonna be a school episode, isn't it?
No, no, they're not schools. Those are fucking white people.
That's true.
Yeah. I just wanted to address something that is fairly sad. This stack of armor here is being donated to my neighborhood because they have reached out and expressed their concerns about having their kids go to school unprotected because we had a school shooting threat in our general area, and it panicked everybody, and everybody went running to pick up their kids from school. I don't know. It is it's fucking crazy. This is meant for children, right? And that we're in this age, and we didn't have hardly any backpack armor left because of the Georgia school shooting that was like last week, and so everybody went out and bought armor. Yeah, it's a fucking weird time we live in now, and I'm trying to identify the fundamental reason why. Obviously, it's mental health. I think a lot of it has to do with, as far as the scare went, I think that was definitely a kid who put it out there. I think it's been established that some kid on social media basically made some scare that they were going to go out and shoot up school. And how many times can I say shoot up a school before this video gets demonetized? Yeah. But
I'll take care of it.
Okay. But all they have now that they have access to social media, not only is it causing obvious psychological problems, but it also gives them the option to say, hey, I can tell the world that that this thing is going to happen, and then put everybody on high alert. Because I think what people don't really understand is happening is every time there is an event like this, when my daughter has to get put on lockdown and cower inside of her classroom, thinking that the next moments of her life could be her last, like that shit is traumatizing.
Oh yeah.
Even when you survive the situation.
100%. Dude,
talking to my wife and she was telling me about talking to the other parents inside of some of the kids that go to our school, and she said the parents are not only panicking, they have no idea what's going on. Their kids are calling them. My daughter, fortunately, didn't have a ton of information. Phone was off in her particular class. The teacher was pretty good about everybody, like, keep your fucking phones off. So there wasn't a whole lot of information. So it wasn't that big of a deal from a trauma standpoint. But some of the other kids were calling, our neighbors, the parents crying. Like there's somebody with a gun. They're going to come kill us. Please come get me right now. I love you. I think this is my last moment. Dude, it fucking chokes me up thinking that is a thing.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't happen today, like that there were parents and their children thinking that the last minutes of their fucking lives could be, and it's so funny because and I'm sorry, I know I'm just taking the entire fucking floor right now, and I'll shut up in a second.
Dude.
It's just, we, Democrats, Republicans, whoever, libertarians, we all agree that school shootings have got to fucking stop. Yeah. Like, we have to find a fucking end to this. It's just how we do that. That's where the whole disconnect comes.
I'm gonna
really
sound
simple.
like an asshole.
That's where the disconnect comes.
We could just get rid of schools.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
It is true. You technically could
Get rid of schools and restore the family. And
good. Yeah. See, the issue with that
No,
is
I understand. There's so much nuance behind.
well, the
things.
nuance. A lot of it is people rely on schools to almost kind of like
Why
raise
is
their
that?
Yeah, it is.
raise their kids.
Why is that, everybody?
It's also
Why
like
is that?
Yeah. They rely on schools to raise their kids for them because they have to go to work to make a fair wage
Right.
to pay for all the shit that
Oh,
they're
man.
not even using probably. and on top of all that, it's a gone is the traditional family where it's okay for the wife to stay home and educate the kids.
look at how many people today though fell out of the movie and into the audience. Like how many people just realized that the politics and the talking points and nothing mattered, and they texted you for armor, right? Like how many of these pieces of armor represent someone who did not philosophically agree with you?
Yeah.
And how many?
No longer do they feel that
Well,
way.
they may have also just been. I'm not saying that they disagreed with it, but there could have been indifference.
Yeah.
Well, take
It's-
it or leave it. Never thought about it. I wasn't aware of
Yep.
it. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't put that in my kid's backpack. You know,
all
and
the
I'm not-
politics and the
all the
talking
politics
points,
and all that
they all
aside,
go out the fucking
they
window.
all go
All
out
of
the
the
window.
parents that were there at Uvalde that day, every single one of them was yelling at the police, "Why aren't you doing anything? Why aren't you going inside? Why aren't you doing your job?" You think any of them were? No one was talking about Democrats, Republicans. No one was talking about politics. They all wanted a guy with a gun to go fix the problem. So when reality comes and parks itself in your front yard, you fall out of the movie in the audience and you agree the same thing that we do. And the only reason that we have the belief system we do is because we saw reality earlier than you.
What if
That's
a
it.
guy with an AR-15 that they didn't think somebody should have walked into that school and eliminated the threat?
They want a dude with an
They would have.
AR-15 to eliminate that dude.
Yeah.
If they walked up, they saw a dude running towards the school in their defense with an AR-15. Nowhere in there are they probably thinking, "Oh my God, we've got to ban AR-15s. Why does that guy even
Right.
have one?
Right.
Nobody should
if
have
one
one.
of us
Nobody
showed
needs
up
one."
and like you know me and you don't agree with me and you're standing in the parking lot and you see me flying in my pickup truck, smash through the front doors of the school, and I come out in body armor and a rifle. Do you agree with me now? Because I bet you fucking do.
I'll
Yeah.
bet you do.
Like,
You're driving your
Bet you
Tesla.
do.
You're like, I don't agree with that diesel.
and then
And then the diesel smashes down the front door of the fucking Piggly Wiggly,
Yep.
Yeah.
you know, to stop
Yep.
the supermarket
threat.
shooter.
Exactly,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to agree with him now.
anyways.
I'd venture to say there are no Teslas anywhere where there are Piggly Wigglies, though.
You don't know what's crazy? The San Francisco Police Department, and I live here now, so I should like confirm that this is 100% true, but internet
86%.
memes, yeah, 86% chances it's true.
And
San
if you quote
Francisco-
somebody and you don't know who the quote was from, we automatically attribute it to
I read this somewhere.
Winston. No.
It's
Winston Churchill. It's always Winston
Winston
Churchill.
Churchill.
It's like Winston Churchill.
Every single
Nobody
time.
will ever question the fact.
I
that
say
you quoted
always,
him.
I was reading something and I saw. That's what
Yeah,
I
I was reading this article.
Who fucking reads an article?
I saw it in a
Hardly
meme.
anybody. No, you saw a meme.
What
I
I
saw
was
a reel.
yeah, what I was reading an article means is I was in the comment section on a reel.
No, it's hilarious. Carly just told me that the other day because I'll say that a lot. Like, there's a lot of informational stuff that pops up in my feed or just on the internet,
Yep.
and she'll be like, "Honey, you got to start saying that you read an article
Yep.
because it makes you sound like you're just terminally online." So
I-
I'll be like, "I saw in a reel."
I saw.
That's what you have to say. Like I read somewhere.
Yeah,
and
so
not.
I was reading somewhere. Where'd you read it?
So what did
The
you read
internet.
somewhere? What did you read somewhere? If you can
Oh,
still remember.
that San Francisco they have an all electric police department now. It's all electric vehicles.
I believe they're at least trying to transition to
Yeah,
it.
that's fucking crazy.
San Francisco transitioning?
Never would've
Just
thought.
way. I would have never thought.
Just imagine like you respond to like a school like that, and all the Teslas, the batteries start dying in the parking lot. Like, so stupid.
You're just chilling there.
You're
like,
gonna be
cool.
there for 12 hours, you know what I mean? And the car's got to run the whole time in case something else pops off, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden your entire police department can't leave the parking lot anymore.
My dad
Wow.
right now is watching this going,
Mm.
that's not true about those Teslas. He's like, if they would have watched those videos, sorry,
That's
Dad.
not how batteries work.
I'm an unlearned. I'm an unlearned father.
Dude, those things break down in the cold too. Have you seen like all the Teslas?
I
that were on the side
guarantee
of
you
the road
he's
in Tahoe?
texting me right
I
now
did.
as he hears this.
they
They don't do that, Jake.
don't do it.
When they catch fire, though, it's bad.
Really? I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Yeah. If you because I don't, I should know this and I don't. whatever the chemical is, like in all the
86%.
batteries and stuff, when you
Yeah.
spray water onto it, it's like dumping gasoline on a fire.
Yeah.
So you can't fight it with
Because it's
water.
chemicals.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all, and it's
Oh,
the
it's chemical
because of the
fire,
amount of
yeah.
batteries in those. Fire departments all around the country are trying to like deal with the problem. There's been all kinds of creative solutions, like basically tractor trailer connexes. You can come out and just drop on top of the car.
You know what I
suffocate
learned
it?
yesterday about
Yeah.
fighting a fire? Not necessarily fighting it, but
That you can't beat a fire with your bare hands.
Bullshit.
you cannot punch a flame.
fire.
So I learned that
Do you know how many things I have just been like?
you know how many seconds a standard fire extinguisher lasts? If you were just to hold it down full throttle, how many seconds does it last? Not you, Mr. Firefighter.
Yeah, I know the
man,
answer,
other
but I'm
one.
gonna.
I'm gonna go for just over.
How many
ju-
minutes? How many minutes or seconds?
I'm gonna say about 45 to 60 seconds.
That's what I thought. About a minute.
Is it 30 seconds?
15.
You got
15 seconds
you
Of
got
pure
one
hold.
You got one
of
go.
pure hold. You got one go.
You got one go.
And then it's over.
It sounds like it's better to just huff it in and just get it over with.
Yeah. I was like, what are you going to do with 15 seconds of flame
You
retardant?
go. So if fire doubles in volume every 30 seconds, depending on volume load, it could take a little longer, a little less, but generally 30 seconds, you're going to double in size,
Right.
right? Once
Yeah.
you have a fire ignite. So like you could have the grease fire, run to get the fire extinguisher,
And
come
it's
back, and just be
double.
like, oh, this is too big to.
Yeah.
What if I spray myself with a fire retardant and
On the
am
way
I
out.
then fire retardant?
Yeah. Just can I then run through the flames
key.
to my safety?
The key to everyone out there watching this, if you are dealing with like a small fire that seems to be getting out of control and you're concerned about the fire extinguisher, the idea behind the fire extinguisher is to check and control the fire. So like short burst and keep it small, keep it small, keep it small, right? Like just
Yeah.
keep
Bill
it where
drills.
it is. Yep. Keep it
Fire
where it is.
extinguisher bill drills.
Yep. That little that 15 to 20 seconds could last a long time if you go.
Yep.
Right.
Little bursts.
Yeah, that's what we do when we come in with a 3-gallon water can. Is you can take a water can and fight off of it for a long time because all I'm doing is I find the fire compartment and then I just check it where it is.
Yeah,
I
you're
let that burn, but I'm going to keep it
okay.
from going anywhere else. So just check it where it is.
It's not switching to
got
full
it.
auto
Yeah.
and dumping that 30 rack.
Yep.
God.
Yeah,
Long story
that is-
short, go check
15
out.
seconds is just a noob on a 249 dropping the entire drum.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
realizing that
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
seven,
Exact
seven
same
round, 3 to
concept.
7 round
You
bursts.
hear that,
Yeah.
baby?
exact same
15
concept.
seconds is a long
So,
time.
Go check out Animal House Training on Instagram. Those guys do some pretty cool stuff. I helped found that company. So
That's
Animal
cool.
House Training.
That's cool that you spent so much of your life stopping fires because I spent so much of my youth starting them.
Are we talking about
Facts.
personal life fires, or were you actually like?
Oh, both. Yeah, both. Yeah, I was
Admitting to grand arson.
I just was a shithead when I
Oh
was
my God.
when I was a kid, dude. I was going through a lot, man. There was a lot of bad things happening in my childhood, and I think there was just
He could
I
have
just
ran-
liked the sound of broken glass.
Yeah, you
know
just
what I'm
wanted to
saying? And
fuck
so I would
something
just, it just made me feel better when other things were
Dude.
being destroyed.
Giants-
And I'm not saying that that's okay. It's just, it was how I dealt with things at the time.
You wanted to
know?
break the world. I get
You-
that.
I wanted to break the fucking world.
You
man.
were from Fight Club. Just I wanted to destroy something beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Why
what-
did you do this?
I feel like that's like
whatever.
most like
Just
16,
wanted to
17-year-old
destroy
boys though. Maybe
Yeah.
13. Like there's a point when you catch a frog and every little boy has been like, I should crush this.
I
motherfucker."
should
know.
I should throw this as hard as I can on the ground.
That's
I am
what it is.
so much
Every
bigger
little
than-
boy has just spiked a frog, and then immediately you know something about yourself.
Yeah,
you're
you're
either
like,
cool with
shit.
it, or you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
feel bad.
I feel
It's
bad.
one or the
yeah.
other. Like,
yeah, and God, I hope it's the latter.
That was
because
like
otherwise
the
problems.
first time I got a BB gun. I saved up, bought a BB gun off the Big Five catalog, took it outside, shot a little Tweety bird, thunk, dies. I walk up, my dad walks up with me, he goes, "How do you feel about yourself, son? Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine. I don't feel anything." And he black bag. And I was trying to act tough because I didn't want to be like a little girl in front of my dad, but I was just like,
Bernice, we got to make a new one. This one's defective.
like inside, I was so torn up. I was like, I can't believe I just killed that little bird for no reason. Why did I do that?
It's
I
like
never shot a bird again with my BB gun after that.
But he was
to my
thinking,
dad,
he
I'm
was
like-
thinking, come with me, Dexter. I am going to hone
Yeah.
your craft.
What if,
And he put me into
what if he
martial
had
arts.
sent you down? Yeah, if he had sent you down a whole life path where you were Dexter now, and you were the whole time you were like, I can't let my dad down. I can't let my dad down.
My dad down. I've got to kill the bad people. I got to kill the bad people.
Could have happened, man.
Dads matter, huh?
They
A
do,
lot.
man.
yeah, quite a bit.
This
sorry
is
for
the
lying
best
to
part
you,
of my
Dad.
week. These stupid things are the best part of my week. We're so off topic.
They genuinely are.
Ah, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Would you like to do an intro?
There's no intro necessary. I'm not here to sell you anything today.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If you know, there are links down in the description for our company, Tacticon.
For
If you
stuff,
don't
if
know
you
who
like
we
it.
are, we make equipment,
Stuff.
tactical equipment and body armor. We also show you how to build a business in the Second Amendment. And you could do that too. We help you. It's awesome. We have about 400 students in there right now, and they're all learning a lot of stuff and making a lot of money. Links in the description. That's all I got with this one. Yeah, I'm not going to go crazy on it. So everybody knows. People watch this. They know.
Very
So,
cool. Very
yeah,
fresh.
And we love you. I do want to say that. I do want to start with this. Look, there's not like a metric fuck ton of reviews or views that we get on
on the podcast.
our podcast.
Which is fine. I like
on
it.
a long time. But I will tell you this, that the people, the people who are watching it, it's kind of cool. And I don't mind it, nor do I want. I mean, it would be awesome to have like 500,000 views every time you did a podcast. But the reality of it is, it's almost cooler knowing that there's only a few thousand people watching at any given time, at most 10,000, and they're just really dedicated to it.
You
And they
guys love
understand
it, and I
they-
appreciate it.
Yeah, and so I wanted to say thank you because
Yeah, thanks,
the few that are in here watching, it's like a little club, you know, it's a little clique. It's a
Cool
little,
hangout.
it's a
one's
little
mean.
militia.
No one's mean on the comments.
What's up?
So
Not
no one's
really.
mean in
No.
the comments.
No,
kinda nice.
no one's really talking a lot of poo in the comments.
Very
No.
different. I'm very used to like opening my phone and just having to ignore a bunch of
Just a
things.
bunch of shit.
Just
talk.
like I'm not going to say it. How often do you type a full response and then go?
Delete it.
Oh god,
Delete it.
so
Yeah.
many times.
That's
I can't
exactly
tell
what
you.
they wanted me to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You know, and
you
I'm
got
not
me, and
gonna
I don't
put-
want you to know that you got me. Like,
Exactly.
moving on with my day.
It's the idea of just it's the stoicism, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody tries to poke your buttons, they try and get a rise out of you, and so you just go, "I'm sorry, were you talking?"
We are not addressing anything specific right now.
And the cool-
this is just a conversation.
Shut your dirty.
No, it is just conversation. It was just me thanking those who were in here. And if you, to carry the conversation from this platform that we're on right now, the podcast, and you want to continue the conversation with everybody else who thinks like you, walks like you, talks like you, and then doesn't think like you and you could debate with, it's in our Discord. And the Discord link is down in the description too. The Discord's awesome. It's completely free. And there's a ton of different channels in there.
I
You
wanna
can meet people from your state.
Yeah.
And you want to thank the Discord?
I want to
for-
thank the Discord, but I also want to throw out a little caveat to that because we always say our Discord, and while technically it is our Discord,
Oh, no,
it's your guys' Discord. It's a 2A Discord. It's not a Tacticon Discord.
It's not a
Yeah,
Tacticon Discord.
It is
There's
for
plenty
all
of
things
them.
2A.
There's people that go in there and talk a bunch of shit about Tacticon.
Yeah,
and
when we
It's
encourage
me.
it.
and
I'm the person.
I encourage it because I'm like, it's not a Tacticon Discord. This is not
It's
there.
criticism.
Oh my god.
It's criticism. In fact, there's a we have channels
How to
that's like
improve.
how to improve. You know, what do you want us to make? And so there's been a lot of inspiration from those channels inside of there of like, hey, this sucks. You should make it better. Cool. Thanks. We will. And hey, you guys should think about making X, Y, or Z. Cool. Thanks. We might. Right. So
Right.
yeah.
I've got to get on the Discord. I still don't even know
You're
how
not on the
Discord
fucking
works.
You're
Discord.
not
No.
even in Slack.
Also, you know, I'm not even on the like inner company message thing. I can't
Turn
make
his
that.
mic off.
Every time you say like get on the Tacticon Discord, it's free. Every time I'm like, well, mine's not free. Like, every time I'm like, damn it.
That's why Mad Minute Tacticians is not being advertised on here because he's not free. But Happy Hour Humans over here. Mad Minute Technicians, Happy Hour Humans.
I charge
That's what Nolan and I
$1.99.
are. And so
I wanted to put it behind a paywall so we keep the feds out. That was my intent.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that works.
Yeah. $1.99 is keeping those feds out for sure.
yeah, $1.99. Your $1.99 paywall is just
It
keeping
makes
the ATF.
sense.
It's a theory.
It's a theory. It's a theory.
Me and all 5 of my friends in there have a lot of fun.
Did you guys hear, just while we're talking about federales, apparently there's something going on where they're trying to eliminate kill flashes? Let me see if I can pull it up here from the Discord.
I don't know, but this is probably my favorite way to
Eliminate
run
a
these
kill
podcasts.
flash?
Yeah.
I think
For
we
an
should.
optic?
Yeah, so here,
Why
it's a
would you?
secrecy order.
What?
From Defense Distributors. Their post says, in the past 24 hours, we received an order of secrecy from the DoD through the USPTO. Our line of ARDs, anti-reflection devices, has been classified as detrimental to national security. At the direction of our legal team, all covert arms ARDs are currently unavailable, effective immediately, while specific LEO and government agencies are able to request this product. Oh, don't be fucking
Oh,
gay.
so you're going to give them to law enforcement agencies and government agencies?
Nerds.
Sweet, dude.
Nerds.
Hey,
national security.
It's national security. You can't buy them, but we're going to supply them. To
The threat to
government.
national security is the fact that the number one prescribed medication inside of Congress and Senate is fucking dementia medicine. That's the number one threat to That's a true fact too.
Yeah.
The
You
that
want
is the threat
another
to national
another
security.
threat to national security is the fact that we've got companies who
let
will
me-
continue to serve the government.
Let me
after,
let me
I'm not
continue
s-
reading this. Let me continue this. While government agencies are able to request this product, we don't believe we don't believe any of our products should be exclusive to government entities. We are actively exploring every possible route to fight this and are confident we will be able to restore this product to civilians soon.
And that's good, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
But
it's like a federal
we don't
cease and
believe
desist?
that that's should be a thing, and then still doing it while this is under investigation
Right.
are two different things.
Right.
That's
So
I get it. I get it to
But
the
I-
degree of wanting
yeah.
to like there's a lot of good guys out there. Like I just talked to a SWAT officer the other day when it was on his podcast, and he's a solid dude. Like if he reached
Yeah.
out and he was like, "Can I get that ARD?" I'd be like, "Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see what you're
dude.
saying.
Yeah,
There's-
dude."
Yeah.
But the-
and I can't. And again, it's that guy's business. It's
Right.
his choice to choose whether or not.
Right.
Because the thing is like if the civilians can't get it and he has a business to run, he's
He's got to run his business.
got to run his fucking business. I totally
No,
get that. He's
dude.
like,
No.
no. So, and I think I spoke a little too soon because now that I think about it, it's like, well, I can either continue to give it to the government until I get this rectified, or I just fucking go out of business.
Or
you
all
know?
40 people here just go home.
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
thumb in the
So
butt.
everybody's got their own decisions they got to make. I can't. Judge
Life
that,
is
man.
difficult.
Life is indeed difficult.
You know, that
So-
is a
But outside of this, I'm not talking about this individual. I think but it is, or this company, because that company is clearly trying to do the right thing. But I just wish more companies would, if the government came in and said somebody can't own this anymore, right? Can you imagine if
Flash sale.
Kamala Harris got elected,
Yeah.
and then in her first 100 days, she did what she said she was going to do, which was
Yeah.
take everybody's AR-15s away. Can you imagine if every AR-15 manufacturer out there said, well, then we will not provide rifles to the government if you will not allow
Yeah.
the citizens
Yeah.
to have rifles?
It's almost like that's the argument that we were making on this channel consistently without fail is that if you just stop providing the boots,
Yeah.
then
They
they
can stop
can't
stamping
stomp
on
you
you.
on. Like,
Yeah, no, you just got to.
fuck.
Fuck.
It's a simple fucking thing. I feel like I want to say though, because I feel like the whole like bootlicker thing is like strong in the 2A community all the time, and we bag on like cops and it's very true. Like if the government is
I
going to
wanna
send
touch on
someone to
that
take
too.
your
Thank you.
guns,
Yeah.
it's going to be the local cops. You know,
Unfortunately.
there's a difference inside law enforcement and professional jobs, just like there's a difference in the military between like combat arms guys and everyone the fuck else. You know what I mean? I genuinely think that like when it comes down to the guys that are like the actual pipe hitters, the ones that are full tack gear that practice coming through your house, like the dudes that are legit gunfighters, all of those dudes are of the same mindset as us.
Right.
You know,
They're not going to be the ones.
your average run of the mill street cop, I don't know.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
what about?
But
are
there's
there,
no way
Are
you
there
go,
any of them left that didn't take the jab? Are there any of
Oh,
them
yeah.
left that didn't take the vaccine?
I think there are.
You think so?
I think that the swing back happened. I think that there's
I think
a lot
the
of
only
guys
ones that are still in there. They're the ones that followed orders.
I
If
think
they
there's a
follow
lot of
orders-
guys that followed orders very reluctantly,
Yeah.
that watched their friends go, that watched guys like me walk, and then listened to what guys like me had to say, listened to what guys like Orion Training Group have to say.
Yeah.
And I think that pushback in the community I think it's been extremely strong. I think companies like Orion Training Group have been extremely successful at pushing that message back into the law enforcement. I don't know if you've ever talked to Jared from Orion Training Group.
No, I haven't.
But he was active duty SWAT guy, and he was selling T-shirts online, like on an Instagram, like a meme page,
Yeah.
just a side hustle. Wasn't linked to him, didn't have his name or his face or anything. One of the guys on the team was wearing one of his shirts. The department found the shirt inappropriate, and I don't remember exactly how bad the repercussions were, but it was enough that he was like, deuces, and started his own CQB training company, taught CQB to civilians, but that was the vehicle to push the message of responsibility within law enforcement, a return to like our core values as cops, as men, as like just the same thing that we're pushing.
Yeah.
And I think he's had great success at that. Great success at that. And you've got guys like Achilles Heel that do the same thing. He provides free instruction through howitzer clothing sponsorship for law enforcement guys in his classes. And once you're out there, you're not just getting this is how to run your gun. You're getting a philosophy.
Yeah.
Like
Got
you are
it.
being taught how to be a grown man by another grown man. You know?
Yeah.
That the Animal House fire training that
Yeah,
me
it's
and my
like-
buddy started, that was the point of that company too. Is we're teaching you fire skills, but when your chiefs aren't looking, we're teaching you how to be a man and how to toe that line and how to do the right thing even if you get fired. You know, I think that
it's
all
like
that is
like the Tate brothers.
Mhm.
Like the Tate brothers teach you how to be a man.
Yeah.
Christian
little
Tate,
different.
Christian Tate, and what's the other guy's name?
Andrew.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, they teach you how to be a real man.
I'm
They teach you how to
convinced
be a real
They
man.
teach you
those
how to be
dudes
a
kiss
real
each
man.
other.
Yeah, dude.
I think they sleep in the same bed.
No, you just got to remember, listen to exactly what they say.
I
They
am
were
them
off
boys.
screen while they were having their girlfriends strip for other men on camera, and they were messaging those men dirty messages like they want to kiss them, they want to meet up, and they want to suck their dicks and stuff like that. They're super manly.
The Tate brothers were saying that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how they made their
Oh,
money.
so
They
they,
made their-
they
they
ran
made
the,
their-
the
they made their
DM
money.
They
accounts?
ran the DM accounts.
They made their money by running, like literally, like running girls on a web. What do you,
I knew
what's it
they
called?
ran. That's
webcam
why they're in
girls, yeah.
fucking Romania. I dated a Romanian girl back in the day. I know what's up in Romania.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know why you're there.
I wanna-
You fucking
Yeah.
shady motherfucker.
I want to
Yeah.
I want to
Not
touch
to
on
mention
Wow.
they're all 9s and 10s. It's not hard to come across one that's not gonna look good on a fucking webcam.
Let me explain something to you. After having dated a Romanian girl and been to Romania, they're all 9s and 10s except for the bottom row of teeth. All of them. All of them.
And the bottom
All of
row
them.
of teeth.
Bleached that black Romanian gypsy hair. Bleached blonde. It looks square. The top row of teeth are square. Bottom row, Romanian.
Romania.
Some guy, dude.
I wanted to touch on what you were saying just a second ago.
With Orion.
Bootlicker.
Oh, bootlicker.
Yeah.
The word bootlicker, and it's crazy because the more and more that I'm involved in the, dare I say, 2A community.
Yeah. When did that become a bad thing? Is that
right.
a bad thing?
No, it
Yeah,
is.
I
saw
got
that.
to those
I'm gonna
comments. They're like,
touch on
that
that
doesn't
in
even
ju-
exist. Like,
I'm going to
yes.
touch on that in a
Without saying
second.
any names, I mean, in the last live, I didn't know that was a bad thing in the last live stream that we did with an individual. That seemed to be like a point of contention. We called it a 2A community, and I was like, where is this hate
Yeah,
from 2A
so-
community coming from?
so-
It's because it was all Russian
I'm
bots,
gonna-
bro.
I'm going to touch on that in just one second because I think that's very important and
Yeah,
crucial
yeah.
as well. But like, the more I'm involved in this space and the more people that I see like just publicly out themselves because eventually their masks will fall.
Yeah.
Like the people who hate on people for owning PSAs, you know?
Yeah,
They're
I
like,
don't
oh, you got a
understand that
pores
either.
set up? You run an arrow with a hollow sun? It's like, shut up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. I'd rather have that guy with me than you.
We spent $334 million a day to fight motherfuckers that had 100-year-old AKs.
That were literally
PSA
running around
rifle
in
is
sandals.
Good to go.
Yeah.
That PSA rifles.
Yeah,
good
your
to go,
equipment doesn't mean shit. Dude. These guys had, you're right,
Well,
100,
like 100 years
100-year-old
old,
AK.
yeah.
They had fucking sandals, and they had an ideology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And against planes,
Trains.
trains, and automobiles, man. Like, they're like legitimate. Like,
And Hellfire fucking missiles.
A
Hellfire
willingness to
missiles.
go the distance
yeah.
is all that's. If you are willing to commit to take a life or give your life, a willingness to go the distance is what matters far
Doesn't
more than
ma-
anything else.
that's
I
like the
will,
Hercules
I will
song?
carry a rock into this fight.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to pull the trigger, then I close distance and I win.
Look at the Russian military and the Ukrainian military.
Yeah.
That is a perfect example.
Why is
of
Ukraine
just-
constantly losing that conflict? Supposedly, also, I thought that they were like slaughtering. It's like the news spin on that is constantly confusing. Like
don't-
we're
1984.
crushing
believe-
Russia, but also Ukraine is losing desperately and needs more shit. I don't.
Look,
like,
1984.
if
yeah.
if values like
were you saying
if,
about
if
bootlickers?
heart and ideology were not at the core of like what they were doing and how they feel about what was happening over there, they would have been that shit would have been 2 weeks.
Yeah. Why
Give
did
it a week.
why
They
did we
would've
lose? We
overran
had
the entire
no
country.
ideology. We had no end goal. Like we had no end
There,
goal.
no,
we didn't
there
know what
was
the fuck we were
well,
doing.
and did you notice too? Like
Yes,
we were
we
talking
did.
about, you're talking about in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You know what the reason why
We
I
have
think
no
we
end goal
had
in Ukraine
more
either.
success in Afghanistan, or at least we were on the right trajectory in Afghanistan in the first decade rather than the second
Yes.
decade. You know why? Because I was there in the first decade and you were there in the second decade, and
Is
that is
that
the
you think
only
that's what it
fucking.
is?
That's exactly.
I
why.
was there in the surge of Iraq or of Afghanistan. Okay, I was there when
I'm just-
Obama was like,
Fight,
"It ends
fight,
today."
Fight, fight,
So,
fight.
No, I think what was happening is when you first saw that initial decade, you had adult men, typically, who had watched or nearing in the adolescence of adult men who had watched what had happened on 9/11.
Yeah.
And that were seeing these things happen in real time around them. And at the time, regardless of what we're thinking about 9/11 and all the other bullshit that comes along with it, but at the time, we're like, we are being
I have to
attacked.
go.
We're going to go serve
I have
our
to go.
country.
Yeah.
I have to fucking go. And you had this drive. But the next generation,
Yep.
a decade later, came along
Yep.
that were infants or small children
Dude,
when 9/11 that didn't truly impact their life, and they were like,
They're
"I'm
not-
just going to join the
They were
army."
8
Yeah.
years old. Yeah.
When
And
I
so
was when I
when-
was getting out, I got dudes that weren't alive.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Which
And-
is super strange.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like,
So when I was there, I was like, it's very clear why I'm here, at least to myself.
Yeah.
I was like, I know what I did. Like, I know why I joined at least. Maybe I didn't know what the fuck I was doing in Afghanistan, but like I knew why. Like,
You weren't in Afghanistan.
I knew why I signed up. I probably wasn't even in Afghanistan. They probably told me I was in Afghanistan. Like, hey, we're in Afghanistan today. We're in fucking like Yemen.
You're in
or something.
Kuwait.
You would have no. You could drop me in Arizona and just not let me see a town. I would have no idea, dude. I
You saw
sit on
a
a
fob
plane
in
with no
Arizona. You're like, this place fucking sucks.
idea,
They
dude.
could have turned the fucking C-130 completely around and like just landed it in some airfield
Accidentally
in
invade
Arizona.
America.
Yeah, just landed it in TC at Fort Irwin, and I would have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
So,
You look like me and you talk English, but they told me that I'm not in America.
so what I'm thinking is, legitimately, then you get this next generation kids that are out there, from maybe 2010, 2012 on, and they're going, okay, yeah, I signed up to serve my country, but
How am I doing that?
what am I doing here?
What is-
You know
what
what I
is
mean?
that?
What's really happening? They didn't live through all that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them feeling that way, but there's also the ideology and the why that goes behind going to combat, that if you don't have that, you're going to be pretty ineffective.
Well, we won the war against the Taliban in the first 6 months. We crushed the resistance. We drove them into the mountains. We made partnership deals with everyone that we wanted to. And then we sat back and went, that was way too quick. We got a nation build now.
We got a nation to build.
The war
We've
was
got-
won in 6 months. Everything that happened after that was fighting an insurgency
We
that
have.
only existed because we were there. If we would have gone in, crushed it for 6 months, the 12 men on horses that used artillery to crush was it the Mujahideen that they were going after?
Yeah. Dude,
Like-
that movie.
Right, and,
Yeah.
and it's I haven't seen anything that says that that's not true. I think that
It is
that's
true.
I
I
think
was
that's
there.
one of the true
I was
stories.
there.
Yeah,
Like
Jake
when that
was-
happened,
Jake
I was
was the
one of
horse.
the 12 guys.
Yeah.
I was the horse.
dude, we're so off
I'll
subject.
tell you
but-
who was there. Tim Kennedy was there.
Dude, I really
Okay, I'm stealing this podcast back. So what?
I'm not going down that road.
No, you're not. So where we're getting at?
There
here.
are amazing humans that actually did amazing things that no one will ever know about.
Okay, so what I realize is, full circle, there's a lot of dudes in this space who would straight up turn in their neighbor. Like we've
Apparently,
talked.
the entire comment section on that live stream.
my God.
Or a large portion.
So
Everyone,
So like, and I realize this more and more because it's this idea that there has never been a 2A community and there never will be a 2A community.
Russian
and it's
bot.
like, dude, I look at that and I think to myself, communists can literally fucking get along and they can't even decide if they're a boy or a girl. And we're at a point here where we literally have to fight our own fucking government to maintain our rights, and you guys are arguing because you can't agree what radical style you want, you fucking queef.
You're just missing the point so hard that I don't know how to like argue back with you.
It's like I almost don't
Like-
even want you in the space.
No.
Like I
Yeah.
want you to just be like, get the fuck out of here. Like you're not helping.
Wait, do you want to kick people out of the 2A community?
No, I don't. I want them here,
You
but
just don't want them there.
It's like I don't want
okay.
the to vote.
Everybody should have the right to vote. It doesn't mean they should vote.
I
just
don't
keep-
believe
keep
everybody
coming
should have
back
the
to
right to vote.
We
Everybody should have the right to own a gun, just not everybody should own
right?
a gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been working on this episode about the presidential debate, and like it's just been cooking my brain. Like there's just so many things
Oh,
to
God.
address, and it's
No.
just impossible to address it all. But
Yeah.
that has been our joke all day today. Is like when you go in Walmart, it really makes you consider like, should everybody
Should
be
everybody
able to vote?
Should everybody
I was
own a
telling
gun?
him, finish this podcast first and then go watch Five Guys and a Nuke to watch Nick's story about it. But he tells the story of the fat electrician about how a lady couldn't figure out her charger and simply needed to fold out the fucking plug.
Fold out. What do you mean fold? Oh,
And he was like, that lady votes. It's his story. Go watch it. Give them the view. It's unsubscribed podcast, Five Guys and a Nuke. Okay?
It's just like
that's
when you're
fucking hilarious.
when you're standing
Like
in
you're talking about the little prongs.
Yes,
that, like,
that
pop
little
out.
flip out.
She could, that's-
he says it the great. He's like, it's a fucking one-piece puzzle, and she couldn't get it done.
dude. How many?
It's a two-piece puzzle, to be fair.
No.
Yes, it is. Because you have to flip it out, then you have to plug it in.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay.
How many times do you think she just went home and like just was like, like, dude, was she at the wall like trying to figure out like how did you get?
Doesn't
you
it
know-
feel good, though, when somebody asks you for help and you just walk up and plug it in and walk away?
It hurts me more.
What are you doing
It
when people
does,
ask for
it
help?
does, it does.
Because I can't not be an asshole about it. It's impossible for me. Like when it's so simple.
Because
To not
like, you're
be
talking
an
about
ass.
like making eye contact
Yeah.
as you plug it in.
Yeah, I'm the type of guy that's gonna grab that charger. I'm gonna look at you, I'm going to fold it out slowly.
Dude,
Never break eye contact.
And then I'm going to plug it in.
never.
And then I'm going
ever-
to plug your phone in. And then I'm going to hand it to you.
Never
And I'm gonna go,
work EMS.
there you go.
Never ever work EMS. Do you know how many every EMS department in the world, or at least in the United States, has a frequent flyer that they see every day that they mix a breathing treatment or a diabetic treatment or some sort of long-lasting basic health issue that this person just like the wall charger just refuses to learn how to do. And if they don't call 911 every day, they'll die. And it's like over asthma, and they just refuse to learn how to like pour this thing into a thing and put it in the air tube.
Jesus.
Dude.
You got to go every day to be like, how you doing this morning, Janice? Here you go.
Pop-Tarts
Crazy.
have an instruction manual to them.
Right.
Okay.
Dude, we should do an
Yeah,
entire
that's a good
podcast
point.
on the abuse
They
of
do.
the 911 system for real. I could go on that for a hot minute. Most of the time, those guys are literally doing something like that. They're coming to someone's house to like mix up a breathing treatment for a COPD patient who is smoking a fucking cigarette when you come in the door. That is like the bulk of what your ambulances are doing.
Yeah.
So when you see an ambulance to go and mock Jesus with the train horn on and all the lights,
Just know that
they ain't
there's
doing
a
shit.
99% probability.
They're just
that
trying to
they're-
get it done.
I always think to myself, oh, someone must be dying. No, it's
No.
just somebody who just got their finger stuck in the toaster.
I'm just mad at you. I was trying to eat lunch and you interrupted my lunch with your COPD daily call. So we're going to
God.
get this over with.
We're gonna get this done.
Yeah.
But coming back to a community question, it makes me wonder, why don't these guys want to band together? That's my biggest thing. Like, why don't you want to come together and be able to do what we need to do?
It's usually what you do when something is under attack.
Because our
You
society.
Hold
come
on.
together.
Wait a minute.
It is.
What
I
is
mean,
that saying? Fuck.
Are you saying
There's no space on the memory card.
God fucking shit.
How much does Nolan make?
Shut up.
They have all these people that have like deactivated their Twitter accounts after that movie came out. Like they're just running scared from it. It's fucking great, man.
would they deactivate their Twitter accounts based on that?
Because Matt Walsh fried them.
Sorry
so they're
about
just
that.
getting hammered. He interviewed these people and they didn't know who he was.
Let me see.
So he just got them. He just got them to say like just the truth of what they believe with like hidden cameras or. Have you seen the What Is a Woman one?
Yeah.
He
it's
does
so
the
good.
same thing for What Is a Woman. He sits down with like physicians that are actively performing surgeries on kids and got them to admit on camera like the youngest operation I've done was a 12-year-old, like blah 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 blah. And they say like who are you? I have to be very careful like who we talk to. Like we have to be very careful with this stuff. And he's all, like he just plays into it and just gets them to. It's crazy. If you watch What Is a Woman, it will like
It's bothersome.
genuinely disturb you about our country. Like genuinely bother you. And the I can only expect the I am a racist one is the same. Like the clips that have already come out of it,
I've seen
yeah,
him doing
some
it.
fat white girl. It's like all Republicans are Nazis. Like, but really though, is that like really your like train of logic? Like,
Yeah.
what did you say the average IQ is? 90?
Last time I checked, the average IQ of the United States was 90.
I swear to God,
IQ.
isn't retarded 80?
We're about to find out, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. I don't know. What do you remember your ASVAB score?
6.
I know my GT was good. I don't know what my actual ASVAB was. The only one I ever cared about was the GT. I think I had a 120 GT, something like that. I did really good on it because I remember
I
thinking
don't
like
remember getting a GT.
it was your general
Did they-
technical
did
score.
they do
That was
that
what
later?
mattered to me because I had to get over a 114 to be a Cav Scout, and that also cleared me to do like special forces and other stuff that I wanted to do because I was
Got it.
dumb.
Below 70.
Below 70.
Below 70.
Fucking close though.
Yeah.
Below 70?
What's good? Like 120?
I don't know. It
I feel like
says
because like what 165
IQ?
is genius.
a full
Yeah, I
scale
think
IQ score around 70 to 75 indicates a significant limitation in intellectual functioning.
Can we take an IQ test on this channel sometime?
Yeah, dude.
That would be
Hence the
super
room
fun.
temperature IQ.
Yeah. An
Hence the
IQ
72.
What if we all turn out to be 72?
an IQ score below 70 is generally considered indicative of intellectual disability, formerly known as mental
God,
retardation.
that's so much more words than just.
So let's find out what is a decent IQ.
What's
Between-
a decent IQ?
It says a decent IQ is considered to be within the average range, which is between 85 to 115. How do IQ points work? Is it like decibels where it's like
That's what I was
Is it like
thinking. Yeah,
exponential?
I was just going to ask that exact same question.
Like 79 to 80 is like a massive leap in difference.
Right,
Like you
yeah.
can solve the puzzle, you can't solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's definitely a circle, however it works, though, because you can definitely get smart enough to be retarded again. You know what I mean? Like super smart.
I'm looking
people
at
that,
two
like,
of them right now.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm saying that there are super smart people that like can't manage like to remember to pay their bills or get their truck inspected or like shit like that.
You're
Like,
looking
can't-
at him right now.
It's called ADHD.
I'm not calling myself smart. I'm just saying that there are people that are super smart that have like social awkward issues.
It's called ADHD.
It definitely comes full circle.
You ever
somewhere.
tried to clean with ADHD?
Yes.
I clean everything.
Things
sort
go in
of halfway.
piles.
Yeah.
That's all that happens. You'll take things and you'll organize and you'll put them in a pile.
You're like, okay, this is my clothes pile. This is my books pile. I'm going to find a home for them. Not.
Do you guys
but I'm
read
going
like
to.
15 books over the course of
Yes.
5 years, all congruently at the same time?
Yes, I do. 100%. I'm like, all right, I've gotten through a few chapters of this one. I'm gonna.
I know
hop
what
on
it's
a-
about.
Yeah.
I know what it's about.
Got
I'm
it.
gonna hop over to that. I got it. I
Imagine-
totally understand.
You read
it,
the
yeah.
first 5 chapters of Lord of the Rings. I get it.
I get it. I get where we're going.
I know
get
this is
where
gonna
Why
end.
didn't they fly the fucking eagle in the first book? That's what I want to know.
That's-
You know what I noticed about my ADHD not too long ago was I was going through just like photos, trying to find photos of looking for photos of my kids and stuff like that. And I've got all these screenshots. And I realized that these screenshots were things that they were like notes for myself that go back years.
That you never looked back at?
that I never looked at. And
I
I was like,
know.
oh shit, that was a note. That was clearly a reminder of some sort for me to do something with. And then I never looked at them again. I was just screenshotting fucking things that would.
Your phone?
And I think that's just ADHD in a nutshell. Right there. Like, do you screenshot things to remember them later, but
And
never
never
look at them
remember.
later to remember them? Yes, then you have ADHD. Yeah.
I was looking through because I save a lot of receipts and stuff on my phone, text receipts, and people, letting their masks slip receipts.
Yeah.
And so like
not texting Nolan anymore.
I'll search through like my screenshots and I'll find it. And instead of being like, okay, it's at December 12th,
Screenshot it again.
I just screenshot it again so it's at the top.
Yeah, I've literally done that. Yep.
and then you still can't find
you
it somehow. You're
screenshot
still like, where the fuck did it go?
But you're
Just
in your
to get it to
photo
the top
album
of the
rather than your
fucking-
screen.
Jesus, dude.
I can't. I'm so
Yes.
envious of people that use the calendar or the schedule apps. Like if you use like your Google Calendar or your Apple Calendar and it updates
You're
across
better than
all your
me.
devices and stuff, like that's so handy. I could look at you and you'd be like, hey, on August 15th, we're going to do X. If I picked my phone up to put that in my calendar, immediately
you're
distracted.
you're on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm immediately on something else. Gone. Like,
I can't tell you how many times I've done that too. Whatever app just happens to pop up, like the
Yep.
last app I was on, that's where I left off when something else distracted me. And so what'll
You're on
happen is you'll be like, hey, put that on your calendar. I open my phone.
Right.
I realize I'm halfway through some text message.
I gotta
that
finish
didn't
what I was
send.
reading.
And then I'm like, oh, I got to finish this text message. And then I never put the fucking thing in the calendar like I was supposed to do in the first
that
place.
critical
and I
moment
missed
where
the moment.
short-term memory becomes long-term
Oh,
memory was
God.
interrupted by the other thing that you were doing.
Right.
So it's gone.
Gone,
This
gone.
Well, this-
conversation didn't happen.
This is why like if you've ever messaged me, you know that like I am the worst responder. Is
If
because
I don't respond immediately, it ain't
no,
happening.
it's gone. So like we've had this problem
gone.
where I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
don't
it's
respond
gone.
to you. Or same, vice
Yeah.
versa. It's like I get
you
the
go.
text, I see it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to respond to this,
You
but I'm
screenshot
in the
it.
middle of this cut right now, and I need to like finish moving this around, or else I'm gonna forget what I wanted to add to this. So I set my phone down, I finish the edit real quick, and I go, okay, on to the next thing that I was doing,
Right.
and then that stays for 10 days, and then I get another message saying, hey, did you get my text? And I'm like, well, now I can't
Yeah,
message back
shit.
Yeah.
because now I'm the bad guy. So then I leave it again.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
started doing? I started remarking your text. Like if I read it and I'm like, I can't do this right
Oh,
now,
you
but I'm
mark
gonna
as,
come
like,
back.
unread?
I mark as unread.
Hell
but
yeah.
all that does now is I have like 140 something
Notifications.
unread texts.
But
they're
then-
all ones I've read.
But then the
and they're
OCD kicks in and
buried
you're like, I need to
somewhere.
get rid of these notifications.
Listen, if you like me and you've ever texted me and I didn't text you back for 6 months, I read it and I like you too. it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, and if
It's
if
the
I've
demons
done
inside.
if I've done that to you, it's just because I don't like you. No, I'm just kidding.
Vicious.
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 Yeah, it's a bitch. But I'll tell you what else is a bitch. Ritalin. Ritalin is a bitch. When I was a kid and I was diagnosed with ADHD, they tried to give me Ritalin. Ritalin is, as everybody may or may not know, it's fucking amphetamine. It's meth.
Yeah.
It's fucking meth. And
Just without the drain cleaner.
when when I was a kid, I I liked to
I don't know the ingredients.
I like to be happy. I like to not be OCD. I like to play. I liked to eat, and I like to sleep. And I could do none of those things because amphetamines, it made me neurotic and it made me OCD.
Yeah.
And it took away my appetite and it made me not
Takes away your
sleep any
personality.
longer than 3 or 4 days. And it took away all my creativity. I had no creativity.
Yeah.
Dude, I was writing poetry when I was a fucking kid. You know what I mean? Like I was drawing things, writing poetry, like creating games, like inventing games from scratch, things I really liked to do. And I started taking Ritalin, and I was focused, and I did really good with my
But the
schoolwork.
school system didn't like that you wanted to stand or go outside.
Yeah.
My favorite argument for that is that for an unknown amount of time, right? Because there's creation versus evolution theory, but we'll just say simple math, thousands of years.
Nature versus nurture
right?
type thing?
No, but like for thousands of years, maybe
Okay.
millions,
Okay,
you know,
got it.
whatever, however long humans have been here,
At least 10.
all the way up until like 100 years ago, you had to like bend down to drink water out of a pond while looking for an alligator, a snake, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a saber-toothed tiger. Like you had to be ADHD to make it.
Right.
And then 100 years ago, we decided to make factory workers. And we were like, if a 5-year-old can't sit in this desk and stare at me, talk about fucking math for 8 hours, there's something wrong with him. And we need to put him on this drug that bikers use. That's Looney Tunes. How is the average American walking around like, cool?
Because they didn't call it Pervitin.
It's it's so insane to me. It's so insane to me. It's so insane to me that we put that. It's it's Ritalin is meth, and the other one is cocaine.
I don't
remember
know.
what it is.
There's Adderall is the other
Adderall.
one. I don't know what Adderall
I
has.
thought
and I'm
Adderall was meth.
Sure, it's some sort
They're
of.
both amphetamines.
They're both
Are they both
amphetamines of
amphetamines?
some sort. Yeah, I don't even know the chemical makeup difference.
It's just
between
crazy that
Ritalin
we
and
convince
Adderall. All I know
ourselves
is
that that's okay.
what I do know is that I took Ritalin when I was a kid, and then somebody had given me Adderall when I was in college to study, and because they were like, oh yeah, you'll take it, it'll make you fucking stay up all night, and you'll it's crazy, like you have so much energy.
You get hella lockjaw.
Mix
But
that with
they
a beta blocker and your Kamala Harris, dude.
Yeah, but they didn't have ADHD, and so all it did for me was it calmed me down.
I mean, same thing.
and it
I can
made
do
me-
a
and it made
line of
me
cocaine.
focus.
Like,
Yeah,
and I
that's what I'm
just
saying.
I
And
stop. I'm not me anymore. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to smoke 7 million cigarettes, but
That's
like,
it.
Yeah.
And so all all that it did for me in college, everybody else was like, yeah, fucking Adderall, go party. We took Adderall and I wanted to study.
Yeah, I wanted to take a nap.
I was like, damn, like this has calmed me down.
Do you drink energy drinks and immediately feel like you can take a nap now?
Yeah.
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 Oh, dude, I drink
Super
coffee
weird.
up until I just had
It's
coffee a few minutes ago. I'll drink coffee up until 8 o'clock at night.
Yep.
Go to bed at 9.
Yep.
Go to
My
bed at 10.
favorite,
Yeah.
like I get into bed and I'm gonna settle down now is like a big cup of coffee with thick whipping cream in it.
That sounds nice.
and then you fall
right
asleep.
to sleep. Right to sleep.
It's fucking ADHD is a superpower if you can harness it, and we don't harness it by giving our kids fucking amphetamines.
Yeah,
we
teach
allow the
them.
creativity to fucking run wild because it's amazing what there's a chemical that is released in your mind when you notice when you have ADHD that you wait until the very last minute to do anything, right? Has that ever been a thing
No,
for you?
Never been a thing. I
No.
don't do that at all.
Nope.
Not.
I think all three of us can agree that's
I don't
never
even
been a
think so.
thing.
It's
Friday
not even
at
procrastination.
at
It's like over
4:30.
self-confidence. I don't need to deal with that yet because I know that I can get
I
that
know
done
that I can
on
get that
Friday.
done. That's right. That's right. Yeah. There's this.
It didn't happen.
Well, there's the
Sorry.
lack of motivation. The way most brains operate is most brains will operate by saying, okay, like limited small dopamine releases through getting limited small pieces of things done.
Not about that.
We don't have any sufficient fulfillment with those small dopamine releases as ADHD, people with ADHD. And so what we get is a very large response when something is like 3 hours away, but we were given 30 days to do it. And we're like, oh shit, it is time
Yeah.
to do this or shit's going to hit the fan. And then we get this huge release of, it's not adrenaline because we know
Panic.
this has got to get done.
Yeah. I only
And-
accomplish under panic, and I
Right.
will put myself into panic because I
But
know
it's-
I do my best work from that. Like,
Right. And that is the kind of the fundamental, that is the fundamental of it described non-chemically. Chemically, it's actually a release of chemicals in the brain that rewards us when those events happen.
Guys, I
and
think
that's
we
why
have a
we're
problem.
having those things. And it is we don't know. We're not like, oh, there's the chemical release. I can feel it happening. But that's
You can't.
But that's what's happening to us is like we're like, oh, cool. That's why, like, Office. This isn't a plug for the 2A Pro course. It's the anti-plug, actually.
All of
All
this is
office
the
hours in the
definition of
2A Pro
ADHD.
course.
Go an hour past what you were planning.
And they typically have only a few hours of prep. Well, they have a few hours of notification time. I will be like, it sounds like a good idea to do an office hours that's going to be in great detail about inventory management in 2 hours. I have 2 hours to prepare for this inventory management, because if I don't do that and I plan for office hours next week on inventory
You
management,
won't do it.
You're not going to do it
I'm
until 2
not
hours
going to do
beforehand
it, but I'm
anyways.
going to think about it. And then I'm going to be able to get nothing else fucking done
Right.
in the meantime, because fuck, I've got this thing to do and I don't want to do it now because it's not due until next week.
Like
Bro,
intense
that is
guilt about not having done it, which then also becomes self-doubt. And then you spend a week thinking, I don't even know. I'm not even the guy to tell you about that. I don't know shit about that.
Straight
I
up.
am the subject matter
Yeah, I
expert
know.
about that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not the one. I haven't even started writing anything about it yet. Man, I feel that so hard.
Dude, I feel this so hard in so many different things. It's like what you were just saying. It's like, I'll make a video on movement and economy of motion with the body, and I'm like, who the fuck am I to say this?
who am I?
I've
Who
only
am
won
I?
grand championships in martial arts. I just know things, but then I'm just like,
Who am
The, the overwhelming self-doubt is like, it's one of my
Overwhelming.
I have had a very unique opportunity in my adult life that I've been in a position where I teach grown men how to be grown men. Like that's most of what I did in the Army, and it's most of what I did in the fire department, was just being like, you know, you have balls, right? Like, you can use them. Like,
You
but
know
the
those things between your
overwhelming like self-doubt and imposter syndrome, it's just
imposter
never
syndrome's
ending.
huge.
So
Yeah.
I love now going, like, because now I'm in a position where I have like instructors that come to me and they're like, dude, how the fuck do I do this? Like, why am I the guy that you guys want teaching? And I get to be like, oh yeah, you just found the self-doubt part of this whole trip that you're on.
Have fun,
It'll
bud.
be all right, man. Like we picked you for a reason, you know?
And I think that also falls into, and I understand that every human probably experiences that emotion at some point or the other. I just think it's more prevalent and with people with ADHD. Only with
Soul-crushing, never-ending thought in the back of your head.
yes, but I think this is the unique part of ADHD, is that you could have this never-ending doubt that I'm an imposter. There's no fucking way. Like, I'm not qualified for this. But also an overwhelming hubris that you can accomplish this monumental task in a very short period of time that most other people would look at it and go, "You're fucking crazy."
You could
Most
drop the
people-
three of us off at a mountain with a shovel and a half and be like, "Can you guys move that?" And we'd be like, "Yeah,
Yes,
but
we can
not
do
we
that.
can
before.
fucking move that."
We
But
will
not,
move that
but not
mountain
a month from now.
No.
We
But
have to do it right now.
Yeah.
Because if you give us a month, we are gonna worry ourselves into this.
If you want me to move this mountain, I got to build this house over here to live in. And if I'm building the house, it's going to need a mailbox, and the mailbox needs a fence on the outside of the mailbox. And like by the time I'm done building everything, we're going to move that mountain, man. But like I'm also going to do 5 other things while we move the mountain.
Check this out. Do you want something really, really similar to that? We started this podcast with the intention to talk about very specific things, and we're talking about moving mountains and building houses because we have ADHD.
I'm telling you, it's my favorite.
And if that's not ADHD, I don't fucking know what is.
This is the way. This is the way.
Throw
I
that
love
fucking
it.
paper away, because
We just
clearly
said-
that's not what we're talking about
We
today.
set a timer for an hour, and we
we
just sit
just
down,
sit.
look at each other, and let it ride, dude. I'm here
Just
for it.
the weekly recap, dude.
Jesus, dude.
I'm here for it, dude. I'm
Yeah.
I'm all right with it.
I'm good with it, man.
Yeah.
What were we going to talk about?
Nothing.
I can't even like fucking remember what was on that paper. What was on the paper?
The crazy thing is the beginning of
worry
this,
about it.
before the camera died,
It's a
was
whole
so
nother
good.
podcast. It'll be great when we get to it. But until then, it's a mystery.
Jesus.
So welcome to the 2A Procast.
An
2A
hour in.
Procast, where we normally talk about guns and self-defense and the Constitution, but today we're talking about ADHD. I just think it's like powerful because
I think it's fun to just chat.
It is fun to chat sometimes.
I think it's good too because like it's been insanely helpful in my life over the last 2 years, trying to grow my own business and like advance in a way that I just never done before. I've always been paid from the government, you know what I mean? And so I've never worried about my next
Yeah, you're
paycheck
welcome.
but like stepping into this world, like finding out, like getting to meet people that I was only talking to through the internet or like just watching you guys, like just finding out that people that do this at a very high level feel the same way as me.
Yeah.
Like it's so amazing, man. Like when I had a younger instructor come up to me, I think it was last year, and straight asked me, he was like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I feel like I'm an imposter. I don't know why you guys want me to do this job.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh,
Oh,
man.
buddy.
Oh, dude,
Buddy,
dude,
yeah.
welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, man.
Be
Like,
part of the club.
but
yeah.
it's good for me. Like, me being able to see you and know that like you can feel the same way as me and yet accomplish is so good for me. And it's good for you to be like, oh yeah, I remember being fucking hungry and confused and like, you know what I mean? It's almost the AA model, but like productive, successful and hopeful, which is not what AA is. Can we just bash on NA and AA for a second?
Dude, I'm so down.
If you want to quit drinking or quit doing drugs, there's a simple solution. You fucking stop. You don't need a program. You don't need rehab. You don't need any of the bullshit. All of that is people selling you stuff to make money in some way or to make themselves feel fucking important. If you want to stop drinking, stop buying it.
So I have an opinion on that. You know, I can't speak to. It's going to be hard for me to talk about this, right? And the reason why it's hard for me to talk about this is because so I don't drink anymore.
Sure.
Okay. And in order for me, what has helped me to stop drinking was I found a place where there were other people like me that were also trying to not drink.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I did AA for a year. I got my
I was
year
trying
chip.
to get away from there. Thanks, though. It's anonymous. That's why I was trying to. All right, but
I didn't mean to out you.
Apparently, you're reading social cues here. No, it's just not outing me. It's not about me. It's about the integrity of the. It's about the integrity of the program. I don't want people to not like me and not go to AA and just not try to get sober. You know what I mean? I want that opportunity. Somebody be like, "Fuck Jake," and he does that, so I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I don't want that could save somebody's life.
If you're struggling with drinking, you should get the book. You should read the AA book because it'll hit you like a pickup truck.
Beg, borrow, and steal anything that will lead to your survival, your
100%,
betterment,
Yeah. So here's
and the betterment of people around you. Continue.
Here's my thought on this. It is, for some, it is very much sustainable throughout their entire life, right? They can go 40 years later. They can also
Still
be
sober.
there and still be in that program. There's nothing wrong with that. There is, like therapy, when you go too much, there's this threshold of therapy where it can also be bad for you.
Yeah.
Where once you start feeling better, but you're still going to therapy and rehashing shit that makes you feel bad. Okay. That, to me, is a lot of what some of these programs, the 12-step programs out there, do. Like, you will stop drinking. You will find a way to build this kind of tribe around you who also doesn't drink and make some friends that are sober and find out how they did it, which are all good things. And then you find yourself a few years later talking about your war stories of drinking.
Yes.
Right.
And
so
now
these drunkalogs of like, when I was fucking 18, I got in this DUI car accident and I fucking, ruined my life and I fucking lost my wife and my kid. You know what I mean? And you're talking about it over.
And now there's pride in it. That's what bothered me about it. Is like the guy that's been in there for 40 years and he's like the king. Like I was the worst person. And like now that puts me in some level of seniority in this group. Like, gross, dude.
I will say that in any situation where whether it is a recovery home or recovery program of any sort, the only position that you should ever achieve in any of that is sober.
Yeah.
I like that. As sober as you're going to get is just fucking sober. As high as you're going to get is sober. Like that's the only thing you're ever going to be.
The thing that I got was that it's very easy to put one vice down and pick up another vice. But ultimately the idea is learning how to manage and control the vices, right? Like you have to be able to control your impulses and your decision-making process. If you replace one bad impulse control with just a new thing that you also can't really manage the impulse control of, then you haven't learned yourself enough to like make good decisions. Mm-hmm. And all it takes is one shitty apple in the NA group to offer you cocaine in the bathroom and you're fucked again.
Yeah, and that's why, if you
it's learning yourself.
True.
You got to learn yourself.
You do have to learn yourself, but you also have to replace alcohol with something if you want to stop drinking alcohol. And the reason why I firmly believe that is because if alcohol was this thing that I could not control, that took my whole fucking life over once I put it in my body,
Yeah.
then how am I going to control it? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
How do I control something?
That's what I'm saying, like-
how do I control something that is more powerful than me in the fucking first place? I've got to replace it
stay the fuck
with
away from
something
it.
else
Yeah.
that is. Yeah, but you can, you know.
I'm saying
there's that line in the book that says you could be in fun Iceland, but an Eskimo is going to turn up with a bottle of Jack. You know what I mean? Like
that's
you
really
can't
true.
get-
That
you can't-
book,
you can't hide from it.
that book hits you like a truck. If
It
you
does,
if you
yeah,
have
yeah.
like if you have like dependency issues, you read the first story in the AA book, and you're like, oh fuck, like, this is about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that
yeah,
book.
it'll resonate with you real fucking quick. Yeah, I firmly
I feel like I shouldn't have slammed the program that hard. It's
No, I
a good,
just-
it's a genuinely good thing.
The
It's
only
just
reason you
corrupted by
shouldn't-
shitty people, like all things.
Of course, the only reason that shouldn't be, I found my way in sobriety because of a thing like that, I'll say. So because of that, that's why I don't knock that. Just like you were saying, big borrow and steal until you find the answers to your thing. You know, it is of none of my, I've seen the program do nothing but good things for people who are trying to stop
That's fair.
whatever
That's
it is
super
that they were
fair.
doing.
If
know
you
what I
have the
mean?
right
do I have my
mentality and
resentments
right
about
attitude.
it? And do I have my resentments towards it and things that I don't like? Fucking a laundry
But
list.
it's
Where do
only
I
the
start?
people
But-
in it. I have an issue with some of the people that I ran into in the program.
Yeah.
And I realized that,
I
like,
think
for
there's
me, I was better to just close the book on that chapter of my life and keep it moving.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of people in there that don't belong in there. By that I mean they're not qualified to be there because they're not fucking alcoholics. They're just in there, right? Like Fight Club.
I think that's
You
fair.
know, like I'm
I think
dead
that's super
serious.
fair.
Like when you watch Fight Club, you're like, holy shit, this is kind of real.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fucking thing.
Yeah, it's
You
fair.
know? Yeah. It's
It's just a difficult, one of the defining facets of being someone who has an addict issue is that you're a fucking liar. You know, like
Yeah.
when you are in it,
Yeah.
you are a piece of shit and you
Yeah.
are a liar.
Mhm.
And part of the growth process of coming out of that is learning how to be like just brutally honest. It's part of why I have like no filter with like my personal life or stuff going on in my personal life is because like I just accepted that to stop lying, I had to just tell the truth all the time, regardless of how uncomfortable it was. I had to just be truthful. Like
Yeah.
I had to just stop being a liar. And
Right.
so like it makes me just like uncomfortably honest about like whatever's going on in my life, you know?
Just
Yeah.
truth dumps.
Yeah, but it's like
Okay.
it's worth like remembering when you're in those environments. Like everyone in this room is a master manipulator, just like you are.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
100%. Yeah. Yeah. You should see like the general dynamic of
We all
of
got here
many
for
of
a
the groups.
reason.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
general dynamic in some of those groups, like they have these things called like the business meetings at the end of the meetings, and they'll talk about, you know, what are we going to do with the funds? How do we distribute to
I've never
central
been-
office?
Yeah, I've
and,
never been.
like just different things, you know, and it's interesting watching the people that are like us try to interact with people like us.
Yeah,
It's a fucking.
it's just a it's
You'd
it's,
want to buy tickets to it. let
it's
me put
it's
it
my
that
same.
way.
It's kind of the same issue that I have with like organized religion. I think that religion is it's super important to humans and to successful societies. You have to have something that is the bedrock core foundational belief system for your society. But once you have a institution that has tax breaks, that is a nonprofit, that can operate with a lot of impunity, it's perfect for someone who wants to take advantage of it. So your job as the consumer of that product is to be very careful with who you choose to associate yourself with, who you choose to listen to, who you choose to give your money to, because it is a perfect environment for someone to come along and take advantage of you.
Dude,
just like AA.
I had a
You're brand new on your baby legs of sobriety. You're a young, pretty girl.
Oh, dude, there's
Bro.
a lot of
Bro.
yeah. It's called the 13th step.
there.
Yep.
there was a youth pastor at a church in my hometown who was telling the youths that an angel came to him when he was praying one day and told him that they needed more donations and that they needed more funds to be able to achieve what they needed to
Now the
achieve.
question is he a narcissist, or did it was that?
You know,
And
listen,
in order to donate, they had to pull the pants down.
listen.
I
I'm-
have some
I'm
strong
not-
feelings.
I'm not
that made,
knocking-
but that made you the man you are today.
Yeah.
It was me.
You see that Benz outside, boys?
You taking
Go ahead,
donations
go
at the
ahead.
skate park now?
Yeah, dude. No, it's just like I'm not knocking on the religion necessarily, but like, dude,
It's
Listen.
the organized part that's where it gets fucked up.
when you're saying that to kids, and you're, I don't know.
We don't have an addict personality at all. I didn't even see you with it in your hand. I could read your body language on what you were getting, and it prompted me to get mine. That's fucking ridiculous,
fucking awesome.
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you just take one out to put one into?
Yeah. I took it out and put
Dude,
one in.
we're so wrong.
We're talking
sorry,
about,
what were you
we're
saying?
Talking about Copenhagen and Zins right now. If you guys aren't watching,
I feel like the monkey in the middle. Look at this shit.
I know you don't have any. Well, you don't have any vices, but
Physical
you,
pain.
You drink responsibly. And
Yeah, you're
on,
right.
on, and on occasion.
Kind of.
And then you maybe smoke weed
Nope.
responsibly on occasion. Oh, you don't smoke at all.
I can. Well, I'm just gonna.
Oh, you don't smoke?
No,
No.
I don't.
Oh, I thought you smoked.
I don't smoke weed. I will have a beer here and there.
Oh, okay.
That's insane to me. It is insane to me, anyone that says that fucking sentence. That sentence is insane to me. The fact that we sell 6-packs is insane to me. Who buys a 6-pack?
And a
Have you
12-pack.
ever-
What the fuck is the point of that?
Yeah,
a
what's the point of
12-pack is just to turn me on so I can go to the bar. I
That
don't know what
starts
the
the
point of
engines,
that
dude.
is.
Are you fucking kidding me right
Hell
now?
yeah.
Like, that's just.
Well,
I'm rehydrating
here-
to go drink liquor.
Here's the question: have you beaten your shins till they bled? Have you repeatedly punched a wooden board until your knuckles bleed to strengthen them?
No.
Have you beaten down the core of your own soul to master it and harden it?
No, your vices sound way more productive than mine.
Well,
Equally
this
damaging,
This
I
is
guess.
why I feel martial arts is so incredibly important for youth, and especially for adults getting into it. It teaches you the core tenet that you are your own master of your own body, your own mind, and you can accomplish anything when you really put yourself to it. I can go right now and punch my hand till it breaks in half. Am I going to? No, that'd be dumb.
Yeah.
But I know
You
that I
can.
have the mental fortitude to just go and punch metal until my hand shatters.
It's,
So I don't have to grab that beer if I want it. I don't have to have that cigarette when I want it because I know I'm stronger than that.
Yeah.
And that's my brothers have all gone through the program, and that has been one of my biggest, I would say, critiques from the outside is just
you
it
get
helps,
stuck in a victim
it helps
place.
a lot of people, but I don't like when some sects of it preach that it is stronger than the individual.
I get the concept that I have to accept that I'm powerless over this because I have to admit the fact that like I will never solve this on my own. A fundamental change in my life must happen for me to take the next step. I have to admit that I am at the bottom and that I have nowhere else to go. You know? So like I have to admit that I'm powerless over it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the next step is that no one can solve this problem but you. And that's kind of my intrinsic issue with some of those groups is that like they then give you the answer of like you just come here every day and you stay here for 55 years and you're good to go. And like it's going to take more than that. It's going to take more than just coming here. You actually have to start changing who you are at some point. And that's my issue with some of the AA groups. It's like you can come into them and
There's
like
an
clearly
issue. There's a significant
people
issue
don't
about
change.
accountability, and people will they'll sit in the rooms.
they're the same piece of shit.
They'll
They're
sit
just
in the
sober
rooms
now.
on a regular basis and talk a big game and do all sorts of kumbaya shit when they're in the rooms, and then when they leave, they're assholes. And that defeats the purpose of just spending an hour of your life trying to help the
Or you're
new
like-
guy that walked in.
You're my
get
first
sober.
sponsor that wanted to meet me at bars and he would drink in front of me to test me. And like, I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
ins-
I'm in the army
what?
trying to get my shit together, and I remember being like, I guess this is what I gotta do.
That's insane.
But like, no, you're just relapsing, and you was like hitting on my wife. Like you just that like, you weren't.
oh shit.
You were just a piece of
That's
shit that was taking
oh my
advantage of the.
God.
You know what I mean?
Wow, that's unreal.
He ended up running off with like a
I think
real young girl from our group.
I think there's got to be
Tracks.
Tracks.
some level of.
I feel like I'm slamming on it way too hard. It's good.
it's not that. I just think that there's got to be some level of.
Personal accountability.
There's personal accountability. Yeah, no. Personal accountability is
personal
huge.
accountability?
100%. Yeah, there is no. You don't blame the bottle. You talk. You absolutely take responsibility. I mean, I have to take responsibility for everything that I did.
Right.
That's the
You know,
point of
drunk or
standing up
sober,
and
it
saying
doesn't.
like,
Yeah, there's no that. It is not because of that.
Oh no,
It
that
is
wasn't
because of
personal
me.
accountability wasn't directed at you. I thought
No,
you were,
no,
I
no,
thought I
I'm
was
saying-
directing that at the program.
No, there needs to be, and I think that is fundamentally one of the things that can go wrong with bad guidance
Right.
in sobriety is that we tend to blame the bottle and we don't blame our actions. And we blame the bottle. We think that, hey, I can remove the bottle from my life and then things will magically get better. But the problem with me was I took the fucking alcohol away and I got worse.
yeah,
And so because because alcohol was like a fix for me. It was a solution.
It was the stabilizer.
It filled the fucking void
Right.
for me. And when I didn't have anything to replace it, I got effectively worse. In fact, I didn't consider ending. I didn't consider about ending my life until I removed alcohol and didn't have anything to replace it. I mean, like alcohol, I am a firm believer that it kept me fucking alive for a long time. Because I could drink and I could go, oh, fuck, there it is.
Yes.
I feel good.
Yes, dude.
And I don't have to,
Yes.
like, I feel
that was my defense forever. Was like, I can't fucking breathe. At the end of the day, I gotta get out of my own head or I'm not gonna fucking make it through life. Like, I cannot breathe.
Yeah.
And the only thing that lets me come home and just be able to watch the TV and fucking pay attention to the TV and let myself be in that movie for a moment, 30 minutes of escape into an action movie while I'm drunk,
Yeah.
That kept me on the planet. If I couldn't have just gotten out of my own brain for 30 minutes every night, the problem was that it was 18 beers to set me free for 30 minutes.
It's true. And it takes more and more. And it takes what it takes. And, I've watched your brother go through a lot of hard things in his life. And he will hit a fucking bottom. It will come. It will happen. And hopefully the difference is either the bottom happens or death happens.
Right.
Like one of the things have to happen. But I will tell you this much, that I have learned more at rock bottom, and it has impacted me more heavily at rock bottom in my life. Change was able to be manifested through that more so than any fucking mountaintop I've ever summited in my entire fucking life. It is the nature of my deficiencies and my liabilities became assets once I learned how to harness those. And it was like I hit absolute fucking shit bottom, and it wasn't just me. Everybody fucking around me who loved me did too. And it was upon that bedrock where a new life could be built.
Yeah,
and without
that's
it, because it was you build this mountain that you're climbing up, and you finally get there, and then fucking what? Then what? There's no foundation on the top of a mountain. It's a tiny. You ever seen the top of fucking Mount Everest? We're just talking in analogies here. Yeah. It is tiny.
It's a tippy top.
It's a little tippy top, and there's like only little places you could stand, or you're gonna get fucking blown over. You can't build anything on that. Yeah. You just made it to that.
That's good.
And then where the fuck do you go? You know how many people are fucking depressed who are in solo fucking who are solo athletes? Guys like Andre Agassi, who is significantly contemplating suicide because he had won the fucking Wimbledon multiple times over and decided, what else is there for me to do?
Dude,
I have summited
I
the
can't
game
imagine.
of tennis.
I
can't go any further. I've got the gold medal at the Olympics. There's nothing more for me to achieve. You know how depressing that is?
Like any professional sport, I'm 35 right now, right? Yeah. And I do not feel like I'm old. I mean, I kind of feel like I'm old, but like I feel mature now. If I was 35 and playing football, I'm geriatric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like your entire life has been nothing but that. Say you didn't make hundreds of millions of dollars and you just kind of made enough to get by and have a decent car while you were in the NFL, and then you kind of get into your 30s and they're like, all right, man, thanks.
Yeah.
Au revoir.
What the fuck do you do now, man? Like, I can't imagine. You're going to fall off the tippy top of that and you're going to hit rock bottom and build something new. And I like the shit out of that.
Yeah.
I like the shit out of that.
If
you haven't hit rock bottom, then
if you haven't got there, there's very little foundation that can be built on anything else, right? You have to hit that bedrock.
I think
first.
I think that might be how I gauge people that I like. Very like without thinking about it. I think I only fuck with people who get that.
Yeah.
Who like have seen the bottom of their pit.
Yeah.
Like I was in a jail cell for 10 days in Johnson County, all by myself.
Yeah.
And I was a long story, not about how I got there. I don't give a shit about telling my story, but I was in holding because my uncle ran the jail that I was like actually arrested into, and I thought I was a hard ass and was like, I don't want protective custody. So they like did a favor and they moved me to a different jail, but they didn't book me in. So I stayed in holding for 10 days where they don't turn the lights off or anything. So it was 10 days where I didn't know if I'd slept for 5 minutes or 5 hours or
Jesus.
I was only kind of able to keep track of like how many days had gone by, but like judging like I think this is breakfast again. But like, if you've ever been in jail, like real hard to determine which one of these meals is lunch versus breakfast versus whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Apple and bologna, or fuck, I can't remember if it was.
That was my rock bottom because it was this moment of like complete destruction. I had lost everything. I literally did not know what time and space was anymore, and the only thing left was I knew that one day that door was going to open, and what came out of it had to be fucking different. And I 10 days felt too short, you know, like I needed more time. Like,
yeah, I mean, I feel like, and probably most people's bottom at some point or the other, I mean, the real depressive types especially, are the ones who realize that I am either done doing what I'm doing or the world is better off without me being here.
Yeah.
And that is a weird place to be. It's a dangerous place to be.
I think that you hit them both at the same time. And I think that you just make a fucking decision. Like, if I continue going down the road I'm going, I will be faced with this decision again. So either I'm going to pull this fucking trigger tonight or
and as hard as
something different.
As hard and compacted as that bedrock is to build a foundation, what's amazing about people like me who can, you know, destroy a whole lot of things and then think that I'm at a bottom. I've seemed to have found new ones. I seem to I seem to somehow keep digging and make it lower. Like I've been able to get it's incredible where it's like there's no way.
There's no way
it can get any worse than this.
And then it gets surprisingly worse.
And then I say, hold my beer, motherfucker, because it's
I'll
about
tell you what, though, every time that you crash back and hit that bedrock, every time you hit it, it seems to get a little softer. You know, like every time you hit it, you're like, oh, hey, I know what this is.
Yeah, I know.
Good to go, man. Like,
yeah, and I hear the thing that I've heard a lot of people say is like the insanity, and they like to quote Einstein. That seems to be a very popular thing where they'll be like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I beg to fucking differ on that. To me, the definition of insanity, genuinely, is saying, I know as I'm holding a bottle of Jack in my hand that this is going to be really fucking bad. And I know I'm about to do something that is going to probably crush a lot of people. And I don't necessarily know what's going to happen, but I know it's not going to be good. And then I do it anyway. I do it anyway. Yeah. That's fucking insane.
How many?
You want to, you know,
I know that we're like
the first
off the
part
rails
of that
this,
insanity was the fact that you had a bottle of Jack.
Yeah, because you woke up.
They make hard seltzer now, man, in multiple flavors.
You woke up
Black cherry.
You had the shame over, right? I don't have hangovers. I have shame overs, right? Because like yeah, I'm physically ill, but like my real problem is that like I'm sitting around this morning remembering what I did at the bar last night.
Sinners in your mind. Dude. Yeah.
And like the only way to deal with that shame over, you gotta start drinking again. I gotta hide. I gotta hide from what that was.
What it is, man.
And like if I get drunk again, the whole time I'm working my way towards that drunk state. Yeah, it's just desperate depression for who I am. The fact that I can't stop making this same stupid decision. I know that I'm gonna do something fucking dumb tonight. I know tomorrow is gonna feel the same fucking way. And somehow the only thing that makes it better is to take another drink.
Yeah.
Wait, have you ever heard there's a you know what, like you kiss your kids on the forehead, you kiss your wife on the lips. You kiss you kiss puppies. You know what I mean? Like you come home to your dog and you kiss your puppy. There is the sensory reception with your lips and your brain. There's like a special link, and I'm not the guy to explain it, but it's like an emotional. It's obviously more than touching something with your hand. You know, it's an emotional connection.
I wouldn't go there.
There's like a theory that I picked up in some of those rooms about like when you put the bottle to your lips. Like I always like drinking out of a bottle versus a can. It's just more. It almost feels like it's kissing me back, and I like the theory so much that like. There's an emotional connection that you are giving yourself with touching it to your lips all the time.
Yeah, it is an emotional connection when you're touching it to your lips all the time.
And like, no, everyone else, like you can sit there in your like muck and blame all these other people in your life. You can prove to yourself that no one has your back. But that thing that subconsciously is always there, it's always cold. You know where to get it. It never lets you down. And it touches your lips and gives you that emotional connection that a human or a dog or whatever would give you back. Like your connection to alcohol is far more than just getting drunk. Like you have a personal relationship with it. And when you're able to identify that personal relationship, then you can fucking break up with it.
Yeah.
You can be like, oh.
And I've always noticed that along the lines of what you're saying, where like being able to drink again and having you feel better, that's like, I always know people like don't really have a drinking problem, even if they drink the day after a brutal hangover and they call it hair of the dog. Yeah. Because it's hair of the dog. That means that they're trying to.
So it's different for you today.
They're trying
Today's different for you.
Yeah, what's happening. And to your
I
point
drink
is
before I brush my teeth every day.
Every day, yeah. It's. I think that fundamentally what's happening is they're trying to just feel okay again physically. I'm not saying everybody who's ever said that is just trying to do that, but for me, I was trying to breathe again.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't.
It's a shame over, not a hangover.
Yeah, I had to fucking physically be able to breathe again after that. I needed to take a breath. I needed to know that everything was going to be okay.
The worst thing too is that it's the most counterproductive shit ever. Especially with like ADHD people. I feel manic, and the alcohol makes me not manic. The alcohol calms me down. But then the next day when I wake up, now I'm manic again, but I'm also, my blood sugar is cooked. So I'm shaky, I'm weak, I'm weird. And when I start drinking, I'm not just fixing like my emotional manicness, I'm also fixing like my blood sugar issue. So my brain feels better, and my body starts to work better because I've dumped all this new sugar in, and like I think if you have ADHD, you are like super predisposed.
I think so too. Yeah, and I think that's been, I don't know this for sure, but there's an 86% chance that it's.
I hope that becomes a t-shirt.
I hope so too.
86%.
That it is that people with ADHD are more, just medically they're more inclined. I believe I read that somewhere once. I really do. I think I did see that somewhere where you are more predisposed, and I know for a fact, unless they were lying to me, that those who I've talked to in the medical profession about what I go through and the things that are going on in my life have told me that. They were like, yeah, you will be more predisposed to those, to addiction if you have ADHD. And when you're feeding amphetamines to a 7 and 8 year old child,
I see nothing wrong with
I
that.
would say that you might be predisposed to, with Ritalin and Adderall and the prescription medication that the FDA allows for. You wonder why they fucking grow up and
I remember my
shoot
mom,
meth. Are you fucking
yeah.
Right.
any wonders why we
I
got a drug
remember my
problem?
mom
in the
telling me
country?
one time, she was like, I was like an adult, and I now that I understand like my maternal relationship better, this was probably a pretty loaded comment that she gave me. It was like a gun that she gave me. But I remember her saying like, I know why you're an alcoholic, because I used to put liquor on your baby bottle thing. Anytime you'd cry, I'd just dip it in the
binky?
liquor, and and like, really, like fucking
really?
A.
That's
so I'm feeling manic and overloaded as the smallest form of human, and you're giving my brain alcohol to like not feel that way. Like, what level of like adult do you have to be to not roadmap where that's gonna go in my life? Like, fucking A, man.
Yeah.
I don't think that story was true. I think that there is something else going on in that relationship.
It could have been, It could have been. It may have, or it may not have. Like the world may never know if you put whiskey on, a kid's baby pacifier, if they're actually gonna indulge in fucking too much alcohol later on in life.
I think that's a super provable statistic. 86% of kids
86%. There's the stat right there.
God damn it. I want to end on this. What would you tell you at rock bottom? Give me something. Or what would you tell a younger you? Either or.
I'll go.
Okay.
Go for it.
I would tell myself what I tell myself literally every day now. It only takes one day to change your life. It only takes one decision to ruin your life. And it's not about yesterday or tomorrow. It's just about the decision that you're going to make right now. You have to make a positive decision right now. It's not even about managing your whole day. When I quit drinking, what I said to myself every single day was just not today. And it was easier in the morning, harder in the evening, right? But every single day, I take every single day of my life now as a standalone event. And I know that if I stack positive accomplishments individually in my days, small, manageable goals, that they will build that mountain that I'm going to stand on, right? So I can't stress about yesterday not going well, and I can't stress about tomorrow going well. I have to just try to manage today the best that I can, and when it's done, fucking scrap it. Whatever it was, and whatever is coming, and I'm just going to handle each decision that comes my way as an individual decision and try to make the most moral, productive, positive action from whatever I've been given, right? Like it's just a series of reactions. If I can produce positivity through whatever I'm going to do today, then I'm adding positivity to the world and I'm building something for myself, right? And that's the only way I get by, because I can't. If I was to sit here and start talking about like how many buddies have shot themselves and start telling war stories and awful things I saw in the fire department. Like, it's so easy to just end up back in that same place. It's kind of an intrinsic issue that I have with some of the groups is you're just supposed to sit in your own shit forever. Like, at some point you
You're
gotta
just marinating in it.
Yeah, at some point you gotta. I am a new
It's that
person
too much
now.
therapy.
Yeah. But you can't. The other side of that is you can't have a 5-year plan all the time. You can't. I'm in California right now trying to map out like what the rest of my life is going to be for me and my kid and like what my future is, and like I'm consistently having to tell myself like today.
Yeah. Today. It is that's huge. And what I was going to say about what I would tell myself when I was younger shifted to what you probably told yourself when you were younger, because that is, to me, that's more meaningful than probably what I was going to say. Because I think that
You just gotta keep going.
the whole plan, the business plan, the 5-year plan, especially the 5-year plan. I think that shit's fucking silly. You want to talk about 5-year plans in fucking business, and people talk about write a business
Shit
plan.
that will never work
Dude,
out.
if I wrote a business,
Never
and
work
I
out.
did, I like wrote some semblance of a business plan like when I first started, and it is nowhere near like where I'm at today or what it was. And if I would have had,
I'm
if I
a
would have,
super successful firearms instructor. What are you talking about?
If I
I've run
would've-
so many classes.
If I
Minute tacticians.
if I would have told myself, when I wrote a business plan for the business or what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do as I got older, at a younger age, and then I headed off into the sunset into that direction, I would have sold myself way short. I would have nowhere fucking near what I have today.
good.
So I just, that plan when you're a kid, fucking ditch it. And going along with what you're saying, just make the good decision today, because it's amazing how little decisions and how taking action, saying yes, will just manifest into so many different things in your entire life. There are just so many small decisions that I have made, that I've said yes to, that has changed my life, right?
Yeah.
The two of you at the table are products of, at some point in time, when you said, hey, I was thinking about, and then you said, hey, I was thinking about, and I said, yeah, like, come on down. I think that'd be a cool idea,
Let's
right?
do it.
So I think that has changed my life in my personal relationships and getting to know you guys. And if you scale it all the way back to even when I was young, I mean, just the decision to wrestle in fucking, middle school and high school changed the people that I met, which changed the way I felt about certain things, which eventually led me to start hanging around certain people that when I got to the point where 9/11 happened, I was around another guy who thought like me, who was like, we need to go do something about this. And I was like, yeah, I think we do. And then we went and signed up together. You know what I mean? Which changed the whole trajectory of my life being in the military, and I wouldn't be where I am today. So it's about saying yes to the decision. Even did I want to wrestle in the 105 weight class when I was in 8th grade and only be able to wrestle girls because those were the only people in that fucking weight class when I was in the 8th grade? Because I was
You
so
won
small.
every time, right?
Yeah. Because like those were the only people in my fucking weight class. So those are the only people I could wrestle. I mean, no, I didn't want to do that. It was very fucking uncomfortable. But the decision that I made to do that led me into this moment right fucking
And you could have
here. And
never
you
planned it. You could have
and I could
never
have
planned
never
it.
fucking
So
planned that. So nobody can plan anything,
you ever
man.
heard the
Like you can't
phrase-
plan shit. There is one plan. There's the plan of the future, what will indefinitely happen, and that could be God's plan, depending on your spirituality and your beliefs, or is that is just the plan that's manifesting in real time because of actions and consequences.
Yeah, it's either God or a simulation or the universe, but whatever it is, it's feeding you shit that you react to. And your life is never determined by how you fell down. It is strictly determined by how you get up. How you handle what comes to you is what will define you as a person.
Yeah,
and if you can find some synchronicity with the universe, if you can find some time to sit and listen to what the universe is trying to tell you, like, man.
I just wish I had known a long time ago this phrase: if you do not quit, you will not fail. 100%. I wish I fucking knew that.
100%.
Like
100%.
The only things I ever failed at were things that I just stopped doing.
Have you ever
like
heard
that was it? Like it's almost a fucking superpower in a sense, right? Because you're like, all I have to do is just keep doing the thing.
Yeah, you just don't stop.
Have you ever heard
You just don't stop, and then you'll eventually get to the thing.
Yep.
I mean, there's a man putting fucking underground fucking tunnels with magnetic trains going to other places in a period of minutes. His name's Elon. Because he had this idea, like, if I just drill fucking tunnels and put magnets on these fucking things, it's a crazy idea to have.
Yeah.
But you know when that idea fails?
And
When you don't actually do
stop.
it.
When it's
When you
unique,
stop doing it.
When it's
Yeah,
unique and will work, everyone else will think you're crazy because no one else will have thought of it before. And because it's unique, the laws of capitalism apply, and it's going to fucking work.
Yeah.
And grit is the only way to get to the end of it. Have you ever heard the phrase that the place that the best laid plans go to die is the planning stage?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if you want to do something,
Do it.
just start doing it.
Just start doing it.
Start doing it. And I know that I don't have a 7-figure house yet. I know I'm not driving fucking super fancy cars, but like, dude, I am a product of that philosophy. There is no way that I could be here now. There's no way that I can see the proof positive that my life is improving in my job, in my day-to-day, in my financial standings. All of it is getting better. I just started recording myself with my phone one day.
Yeah.
I didn't really have much of an end goal. I just knew I didn't want to do what I was doing anymore, and there was a way to make a living in this space somehow. So I set my fucking phone up and I shot at it.
Yeah. And if you hadn't done that, then
You know what I
we
did?
never would have met. And if I hadn't, like, I didn't want to hire your fucking brother.
No.
Your brother was in a fucking,
Yeah.
he was
in a bad way?
He was in a bad way, but it was a man that needed some help. But we are here today in this podcast
Because of him.
because of him. Because this connection, none of this would have happened had I not met your brother.
you know
and
what
had I just not said, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Right.
See where it goes.
You know what I did?
You know what I mean? And like, fuck, dude, it's amazing the way the fucking world works,
You know what I
dude.
did
It
my
will
first
provide.
day of filming, working at the fire department still?
Mm.
I blew my ankle. Bad, blew my ankle out. So day one, I was able to film for the one time in 6 months. Like my first day of starting this, I fucking destroyed my ankle. But 6 months went by. And
6 months went by, and then, yep,
back at it.
and then there it is again. And if I could say one thing, and I promise I will end on this, but I want to hear from you what you would tell your younger self. So
did you wanna
I
talk?
will personally end on this. To those of you out there who are listening, who think that, because I thought this until I had to prove it. You may just have to prove it to yourself, because you hear this phrase, money does not buy happiness.
They
right?
don't own a wave runner.
They don't own a fucking Ferrari. You know what I mean? Like, it does. No, to those of you that genuinely think that money will solve the problems one day, that if I just had enough money, it will solve the problems one day. No. It doesn't mean, now fuck the whole money buys you happiness. I'm talking about, there's a lot of people out there with other things that need to be addressed. There's a lot of people like me personally, who thought that money was going to fucking fill the voids that I needed and the problems in my life that needed to address. You know what money did? It made it fucking worse, because you know what money did was I could put the stuff, the business, the cars, and in between you and me, right?
Mm-hmm.
To where you're like, I think there might be something going on with him. I think I should talk to him and be like, dude, have you seen my house,
Yeah.
bro?
I'm not an
Have you
alcoholic.
seen
I
the
have a
business? Have
Ferrari.
you seen, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, like,
Yeah.
have you seen all this stuff? Dude, you know, and
I'm not
you know,
manic.
dude, it kept me sick for so long, because people that were trying to help me, I'd be like, hey, look at all my shit. And then they'd be like, oh, well, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, fair enough. Like, if you were really that bad, you know how many people, this may be getting a little too personal, but that my wife tried to reach out to, say, hey, you really care about Jake, and he's having a hard time right now. And I would hope that and they went, Jake, you fucking look at all this shit.
Yeah.
You know, how sick did that keep me? Because people wouldn't help. I'm not saying they should have. It's up to me to help myself, but I'm saying nobody would get in the way, because they were like, I don't believe you. And how frustrating was it for her? Because she was like, no, you don't understand. Like, the guy is he's sick right now. Yeah. And he needs help. And they were like, nah, he's got too much shit to need help. And so, you know what I mean? And it kept me sick, even on my own accord, because I was like, yeah, I mean, I must be doing okay. And it just filled the void. Money solves money problems. That's it.
Damn
That's
straight.
the only fucking thing that it solves is money problems.
Damn straight.
How about you, man?
Well, I want to touch on just what you were saying about planning. She'll be watching this and editing this, and like, dude, Carly will try and plan out next week for me, and I'm like, dude, nope. She's like, what do you want to do next week? Like, let's plan out next week for you. What do you want to film? What do you want to do? What are you gonna try and do something here? Like,
It's just gonna hit me like a meteor one day,
I'm
and
like,
that's
no,
where we're gonna
dude.
go with it."
Listen, I'm gonna want to do that. I'm gonna want to do that on Monday. But like, if Jake comes in and we need to film like a sales video, or what if I need to go out to the range, or
You know, it's funny is
It's
like,
Jake's fault.
how many times have
you
we?
make me like this.
How many times have you and I sat down and go, all right, we need a plan, we need a schedule, like, and we're like setting the schedule up
every
for a
fucking
posting,
time.
and we're
Every
like setting the
fucking time.
schedule up. It's never like the schedule it may as well not exist. We may have well has just, and we did, just lit it on fire and then just kiss that time goodbye
Yeah.
and done whatever the fuck we wanted to do anyway.
Is this actually good advice, or is this just 3 ADHD crackheads who like
Don't
manage
listen to that part. Yeah, don't listen to that. I'm not giving advice.
I would I would be
Don't
so
listen.
proud of myself if I could set a schedule for 30 days and stick to it.
Oh
I
my
cannot do it.
God.
And do you, oh man, I'm so off subject. Do you decide like, all right.
I'm gonna get you a T-shirt that says, "Man, I'm so off topic."
I will decide like, okay. Like I got out here, I was like, all right, I need to do something for mental health. I got to do something physical. I just need to, and I bought that bike on Facebook, right?
Yeah, and then
My first day on the bike, I was like, this ain't good enough, man. I ride bikes now. I need the best bike I can get.
You mean you bought the bike instead of the phone that you needed to be able to get back into the building to get
Yes.
your key, or call the person to
100%.
give you your
Yes.
key?
Yes. Yes.
That's ADHD in a
But like,
nutshell.
I will be like, I'm taking on this new hobby, and I can't do the hobby until I have all the best. I will spend
all the
6
best
months
equipments.
researching the equipment for the hobby, and never.
yeah.
I'll buy all the
Part
shit.
of the fun
and then
of
just
the
stack
hobby
it in
is
my
researching
shed.
the stuff
Yeah.
for the hobby.
Dude,
I know. Do you know the
kayaking,
only reason-
fishing, mountain biking, snowboarding.
The only reason we have a podcast or have a YouTube channel is because of Nolan. I was like, we're going to do social media. And I went out and bought $50,000 worth of fucking equipment. And we didn't need it. I needed like $500 worth of equipment to start a social media channel.
what I tell people
bought
all the time now.
$50,000 of social
I
equipment.
gave you like a B&H cart that had like $3,000 worth of stuff. I come here and it's like a pallet gets delivered. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Quietly to yourself, you were mad.
Yeah.
This is
Dude, it had
great.
nothing
I can
to
talk
do.
him into all kinds of shit.
My expenditures are the least of all the companies, dude. I'll come to Jake, I'll be like, hey, there's this thing, it's like $20.
No.
Is it okay if I get it?
No.
And he's like, you have a company card.
No.
Yeah, you can get the thing.
I'm like, I'm just making sure it's okay, dude.
Oh, yeah. The channel wouldn't exist. We would just have all this stuff probably still in the boxes. Tripods, cameras, that maybe I took it out and looked
a
at it
couple
and
of
put
them
it
would
back
be
in
out
there.
and like half disassembled, and you'd be like, I tried to put it together, but I just got fucking irritated.
You get equipment that is on this level of like knowledge and understanding, but you're down here. So like you have the right shit, but you don't know how to use it.
I don't know how to use
so
it,
you
yeah.
just give up. Like
Yeah,
right
so I
there.
just-
you
yeah.
Yeah,
I tell everyone now, like a lot of people hit me up and ask, which is kind of weird to me. Like I'm not that big of a deal on social media, but I constantly, people ask me like, I want to do what you do. Where do I start? My first advice is always don't buy fucking anything.
Don't buy anything.
Don't buy anything.
Don't buy anything.
You
Yeah,
have
it's
yourself
such
an Apple iPhone is far and away good enough on audio and video quality to get you so far down the road. If you want to replace what that thing can do as far as social media posts, you got to spend a lot of money on it. And then you will spend money on a camera that only runs in RAW, that needs standalone audio, and you don't know what the
I
fuck
wanted to
you're
start
doing
editing
anymore.
video, right? We're going to do the whole thing. And I bought a course for $1,000 and I took the course and I was like, this is amazing. And then I gave it to Nolan and I was like, I'm not actually going to edit because once I started doing it, I didn't like it. But here's the course. And then he starts editing and he's getting really good. And I was
like
like, you're
playing
really
the
good at
piano and
editing. And
doing
I was like,
math.
so how'd that course go? And he was like, I didn't take the course. I just learned how to do it by doing it. By doing it.
By
And I was
doing
like,
it.
Go
really?
do it.
You just learned how to use
I
DaVinci Resolve
remember
just by
talking
doing
to you
it?
on the phone like 2 or 3 times, and you're like, so have you taken the Coulter course yet? And I'm just like, no. And you're like, why, man? We've got the course. Take the course. And I'm like, I probably should, but like,
Just
Yeah.
do
It was
it
just
until
like,
you run into
doing
like a
it.
moment where you're like, I wish I could do this thing, right? Like, you
Yeah,
just
and
do
then
whatever
you-
you're
and then
doing,
you
and then
look
you
up-
YouTube
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then you look up how to do
that one thing.
The biggest problem that comes in with that is you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And we face
Yeah.
this a lot is because you don't know the wording of what you need
Yes.
to look up.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like you'll be like, this is fuzzy. How do I
How
get
do
it
I-
not
yeah.
fuzzy?
And
And
then
so
you're
you
trying
type
to,
into
like-
YouTube, how to not fuzzy video.
yeah, it's like
And
trying
you're like
to find
watching
it.
hours of video and you're like, where is it?
DaVinci has been single-handedly. I am a father. I have helped another buddy grow a business. I've been in combat zones. I've worked very difficult EMS and fire-related calls. I've had personal drama and stress and strife, and I've gotten sober off of all kinds of different things. I can say with all seriousness that learning how to use DaVinci on a professional level is the hardest fucking thing I've ever done in my life.
There's so many buttons.
There's it does so many things, and you can touch one thing and just catastrophically break everything that you have done. And you have no idea what the thing was that you touched in the first place, nor do you know how to describe it to the internet.
Yeah.
For the internet to answer it for you.
You wanna
so
know-
you just delete everything and start over.
When you're like explaining it like that, it makes so much more sense why you're like this when you're
Yeah.
watching me go.
Editing on DaVinci or Adobe is like playing the piano and doing math at the same time.
It
And I mean
is,
that like
yeah.
so seriously. Like
Yeah.
it is legitimately the hardest thing I've ever tried to learn.
You want to know something more amazing?
Not to discourage anybody,
but no,
fucking
not at
A.
all. It can all be learned. If you don't quit, you won't fail. But if you, the most amazing thing about that, if you really think about it, is somebody fucking
Made it.
Made it.
I know.
Not
I have
only
that
we
thought all
can't
the fucking
use-
time.
we
I have
can't-
that thought all the time. When I'm sitting and editing it, I'm like, someone out there knows how to use this in a way it's not supposed to be used, and I can't even make it just.
Dude,
yeah, they
export this
designed it.
video.
They
Imagine-
coded the whole
Yeah.
thing from scratch.
I
They just-
exported this hour-and-a-half long video, and I can't find it on my computer. It's
Dude,
gone.
imagine just sitting down with those guys at Blackmagic and just having them run you through an editing course. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
What they
Yeah.
could show you would be
I know.
unbelievable.
And then the reason why we designed this, and you're like, I didn't even know you could do that. You ever sat down with somebody at a computer and they did some weird shit?
Yeah.
Like I did.
And they're like, so when you
and
do
they're-
this, and you're like, I didn't even
yeah,
know that
like
was
they
a
hit,
thing.
They hit
Yeah.
like they hit Alt Tab, and like all your tabs come up, and you're like, what? Wait,
That's-
hold on.
no,
what,
that's him.
What keyboard shortcut did you just hit to
That's
make all that
him.
happen?
He'll
And
come
you
in and I'll
didn't
be
even
like-
you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, can you? I don't know. Like, I'm trying to get this color grade to match, and like, I just can't. Like, I don't know. Like, why the blue is just odd, and I can't figure it out. And he'll sit down and be like, and a whole ass menu pops up.
Yeah.
Everything changes, and all he did was hit like 3 keys together, and he goes, there you go.
Yeah.
No,
No, not just there you go.
Or is it worse when I come in and I click the dropper and then click?
That one I still okay. So I
When
still
it's
don't.
something
I don't know
very
how the
simple.
dropper
Click.
works.
Yeah.
I've watched you use it many times now, and I have watched YouTube. I can't
We'll get
do
there,
the
bud.
dropper.
We'll
That's
get there,
we're just gonna. Someone else has to.
It's just to
color
grab
it.
a color, right?
It's
Yeah.
kind of
Okay, all right. In a sense,
oversimplification. Yeah.
we don't
it
want this
cooks
turning
my
into
brain.
a
I will
Da
watch.
Vinci
I will
course.
watch him
Yeah.
click the background, and then be like, yeah, it just needs a little. It just needs a little bit of. We'll just some contrast, and we'll just bring a little blue up here, and all of this makes sense. And I'll be like, all right. He
I
walks
color grade
away.
your shit better
and
than I do with mine.
I click the
sometimes, 'cause
background.
he like needs the help.
Yeah, but like I will do the same thing. I'll click the dropper. I click the background. My entire image disappears and my shit deletes and my computer catches fire. And I didn't even get to the part where I got to adjust shit.
All of that being said, the reason why consultants
make so much
make
money.
so much money in anything that they do.
Yeah.
They could
Yeah.
be editing consultants,
Yeah.
they could be business consultants, or they could be the organization consultants. They make the money because they've done the thing
Right.
for a long period of time.
Just that
and when
one
you
thing.
hit a roadblock, they go, hey,
Yeah.
all you got to do is this. And you're like, oh, fuck. And it saved you like 50 hours down the
Right.
YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Dude, consultants make a killer. And that's there's companies like Deloitte and KPMG, like these huge consulting companies that people are like, what do you do? I'm a consultant. And it's kind of a laughable thing.
Yeah.
But the reality is like what they do is they shave years off of your
Right.
fucking training in your life
Right.
by simply going in and saying you need to A, B, and C, right?
Can we add
You know,
that to
I
the-
will, what's that?
We should add that to the like how to get sober, how to build a business, how to be successful, how to whatever. You have to go find the subject matter experts of whatever it is you want to do.
Of course.
And YouTube is
Always.
wonderful for
Yeah.
it. If you just sit down and find like Casey Ferris on YouTube for DaVinci editing,
Yeah.
when you start watching his videos, you don't know what he's talking about. Like it doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
to
he
you.
says words and you're like, that
But
isn't
like
a word.
the more that you watch it, the more you just become it. It is the age old principle of surround yourself with people that are what you want to be.
Yeah.
And constantly upgrade that group.
Yeah. We scaled the composite armor division up so quickly because we hired a consultant for a lot of money, an undisclosed amount of money, who was the CEO of an undisclosed company that was a large armor company, a prior CEO. Was the CEO of a prior armor company. And then he went and did consulting. And he went in and we were doing things ourselves for so long. And I mean, we made it inches.
Yeah.
That dude came in and in 6 months took us 6 miles.
Yep.
That would have taken me 60 years to fucking get to.
You just have to, you're walking
Yeah.
around with a blindfold, bumping into walls, trying to figure out where the door is.
Yeah.
He just already knows where it is.
He just knows where it's at.
He's like,
And
no,
I
bud,
go,
the door's
Yeah.
over here. Yeah.
And then like when someone explains it to you, you realize the roadblock you're on is on a road that you're not even supposed to fucking be on.
Yeah.
You just wasted 6 months driving down the wrong fucking road.
You ever been
know?
like swinging your club on the golf course or shooting your pistol at
I
the
like playing
range
golf.
and then have somebody walk up and go, hey man, if you just, and then they like adjust your finger on your trigger,
Yeah.
and then they just move your back a little bit in your stance, and then all of a sudden
The
you're dropping
world
dimes,
changes.
and you're like,
That-
or even in like on the golf course if you just open up the face a little bit, now try the swing. Straight.
It's a super.
You're like, oh shit!
If you just keep
Like,
doing
I've
that,
done
like
that for-
if you just keep doing the thing that you want to do, like you just keep doing it, one day you will have this moment where you did it, and it was right. Like how many times have you hit a golf ball and you connected well.
yeah,
You know, and it's like you
but you
there's
don't
a
know
moment-
why.
No, like
Yeah,
but that's
like-
that's the crucial moment. Is like there's a moment where your brain goes, oh, I get it,
yeah,
and now you've
Yeah,
got it
kinda,
forever.
yeah.
If you learn how to ollie on a skateboard when you're a kid,
Oh yeah,
you've got it forever.
right.
So you just
You may
keep
not-
doing it until your brain goes, all right.
I know how to explain it now.
All right,
and I
yeah.
can show somebody else how to do that. Yeah.
Oh man. I used to say that shit to dudes all the fucking time. If you went, especially with like EMS stuff and like just complicated, there's a lot to remember. The best way to learn how to do it is to teach it.
somebody else
Yeah,
to do it.
I used to
Like-
stand in the living room of my 1-bedroom apartment with a whiteboard. When I went into trigonometry for the first time, it was trigonometry with advanced college algebra. I shouldn't have been in the fucking class, and I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. And I failed the fucking assessment test to get into the class. And the teacher came up to me and was like, "Hey man, you got the worst grade in the assessment test. I don't think you should be in here. You need to go 2 grades lower." And I was like, it was one of the
Not going
proudest
anywhere.
moments of my life because I graduated that class with the highest grade in the class, but
Nice,
I
dude.
entered in with the assessment of the lowest grade in the
Nice,
class.
dude.
But it was a product of doing exactly that. I stood in the fucking living room of my apartment at the time with a whiteboard, and when I didn't understand a concept, I would learn it, I would do it, I would get the answer right, and then I would teach it to nobody really,
Yeah.
because there was nobody in there with me. And I would just put it up on the whiteboard, and I would go step by step, and I would teach it back to nobody. And it reinforced
in your
that.
brain.
It burned it in my fucking brain
That's
to
what
the point
notes
where I
in
could,
class is supposed to be for. That's
Right.
why you take notes when you're in school. It's because when
The
you
reinforcement.
when you write it down, you are reinforcing it in your brain.
Yeah.
Like I brainstorm by just getting a notebook and just
yeah.
like writing things down, saying things
Mm-hmm.
out loud, or being a teacher. I think one of the good things that comes from being a teacher, like in a class setting too, is that like you feel very confident in your skill set until you have to teach it. Because there's a bunch of shit that you do in your skill set that's everyday stuff that you've
Right.
got nailed to a T. 90% of what you're about to teach is shit that you don't touch except for extreme moments.
Yeah.
And you have forgotten it.
You know how many times I've had to reach back into that same fucking catalog when inside the 2A Pro course, when somebody fucking asked me a question about the business and they're like, how do I, and I'm like, fuck, I do that every day and I don't know how to explain that.
Right.
And then I have to really understand it
Yeah.
because if I don't understand it, I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I just have been doing it, but it doesn't mean I understand why I'm doing it.
Yeah, man.
I just fucking do it.
I love being
Yeah,
a teacher.
yeah.
It's the reason that I like being a dad. Me understanding that like my child will accept in their life what I am, the model that I set for them. I'm teaching them. So I'm constantly looking at myself and assessing myself and trying to make myself, I'm just trying to live up to what I want in their life.
Yeah.
It has fuck all to do with what I want in mine. I just know that I don't want her life to go this direction.
Yeah.
So mine must go this direction.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
have kids, dude, have kids.
Well said. Yeah, I did have
Seriously, have
Have
kids.
kids.
And
It
this,
is
this dumb shit,
amazing.
we're like, oh, I got to get it together. I got to get it at the right house. I got to get.
It'll never be the right time.
It'll never be right anything.
Never
It'll
be the
never
right
be the right time. You'll never have the right amount of money. And you might think that you do, and then the second you have kids, you realize that you were dumb all along because, like, dude, they will fuck your finances up.
Yeah. They will wreck your shit.
The whole idea of like, I go clothes shopping when I get paid every month, and I just add some stuff. Like, not anymore.
Yeah.
No
'Cause
mas.
You need to work harder and harder and harder to make all the money, and you're going to work more and more and more and more and more.
And you're
then
gonna
you
have
make all the
less.
money, and then you have the kid. Do you think you're going to be able to turn that off when you have a kid? No. If you have a lifestyle you have to adhere to,
Yeah.
then you should just do it now while you already have the lifestyle. Because once you have an elevated lifestyle, which requires more work and more time, it's just going to be less time you're going to be able to give to your fucking kids.
And
period.
and honestly, the younger that you do it, I'm so one of the greatest things that happened in my life was my daughter to come into my life when I was 24 years old. Like I was a fucking child, man. The benefit that she has provided in my life because I grew up with her. Like we grew up together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
yeah. Yeah, that's a
you
good way to put
can't
it.
grow up without that responsibility, and especially for guys. I feel like that's an epidemic in our country, the fuckboy epidemic.
Yeah.
It's because we're not having
Not
kids
having
anymore.
kids, yeah,
We're
because you got to
35.
grow up at the same time they're growing up. You got to figure your shit out.
Yeah, you got to figure your shit out, and you will not. As a man, men don't do anything until we have to, so we don't grow up until we have to. So this idea
So
that like
true.
I'm gonna get my shit together and then I'll have a kid, it is the kid that makes you get your shit together. If
yeah.
you are realizing that I kind of want to get my shit together and be serious in my life, pick a woman who has some core values that you do and have some kids. and just fucking hope for the best.
Yeah.
And then take everything day by day
That's it.
and don't drink.
Don't drink.
Don't drink.
And did you have something you wanted to tell your
Oh
younger
yeah,
self?
dude.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
That was like 30 minutes
So
ago.
what would you tell your younger self, Nolan, to wrap this whole
that
thing
was
up?
really like 30 minutes
It really
ago.
was 30 minutes ago when you said, now to end this,
I'm so sorry, dude. It's
welcome
my
to
fault.
the ADHD podcast.
Welcome to my life. The thing that I would share with my younger self, very similar to how you said, it's kind of something you say to yourself every day now.
Yeah.
Um,
I am my younger self. You know what I
Right.
mean?
the what's cool is life is exactly what you make it, right? And your mindset is what you make it. When I was younger, I was blissfully optimistic. And then some shit happened in my life, and then I was a despicable narcissist and nihilist. And then growing older, I realized that life is what you make it. You get to choose what you believe, right? There's a lot of people who choose in Christianity, every single religion there is. I choose to believe every day that everything happens for a reason. I choose to believe that when one door closes, another door opens.
Amen, dude.
And if you can just really hunker down and go, nobody can tell me that I'm wrong, and nobody can prove it, so I get to choose to believe it. Like, man, being able to look at life's hardships and go, hey, this happened for a reason. I don't know what it is. I may never know, but this happened for a purpose. I was telling you the other day,
Yep.
you can fight the ocean or you can choose to ride the waves.
So good, dude. I love that.
You can't win against the ocean. It's going to win every time. So you got to learn how to take the blows. You got to learn that, hey, this might suck right now, but this is pushing me towards something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's very much like Taoism,
right.
as well. It's the philosophy of Taoism, and you know,
I,
for
like,
anybody that
pursue
wants to
being
read the Tao Te Ching.
uncomfortable.
It's a short read, but it's a good read. What's up?
I pursue being uncomfortable. Like I was talking to someone last night, and I was saying, like, I sing when no one is around, and I'm like, I have nothing to do. It started when I was like driving. I drive all the time for work, but like now it's something I like cut time out of my day, and I find songs that are like, what's the Sam Smith, right?
Taylor Swift.
No, Sam Smith, the gay dude. That dude can belt, but he's like an octave that I cannot hit, and I will put genuine effort into that song for like 30 minutes, because like it's just I'm not good at singing. I want to stay uncomfortable. I'm getting better, dude.
Are you?
Yeah.
No shit.
Like, I mean, I've been at this for like years now. It's been something I don't like talk about.
I was
with
talking to
anybody,
his dog. He said he's
Yeah,
it's fun. Yeah.
but like there is no development in your life without discomfort.
Right.
It is the forging in the fire that develops you. So like just pursue being uncomfortable. And after an amount of time, like you become very comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's very true.
My personal
Embracing
situation
the suck.
here, people keep being like, how are you doing? I'm doing fine.
I'm good, man.
I'm doing fine. Like everyone in my personal, I get the amount of texts I'm getting from people that are like, "Hey, don't kill yourself." I'm good.
I'm good.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Like,
When your one door closes, another one opens. I think if we all witness, if we're in the middle of something that sucks,
right,
and something bad that's happening to us right now, the key component of what you said with that one door opens, the other one closes, one door closes, the other one opens, is in the middle of that suck, you think to yourself, good. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That was original. I thought of that. Good. No, but you legitimately think to yourself, I'm going to watch out for the benefits that come from this.
right.
If you know, and then what will happen is you will provide evidence to yourself that at the end of that hardship, wow, this bad thing happened, but if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have this right here, which is way better
Right.
than what I had before. And then it happens every fucking
Over and
time
over and
something
over
bad
again.
Right.
happens.
If my
Dude,
ex
it's
didn't cheat on me, I wouldn't be married to my wife right now.
Dude, I'm
Exactly,
telling you,
dude.
it's the most incredible fucking thing, because then you realize going into nasty shit that, holy shit, like something great is going to come from this.
Right.
I just have to understand that, believe that based on my experience, because I looked for it before and I found evidence of it. And you can find a way to tackle that without wanting to, drink or kill yourself. That
it's
usually
when you
comes
stop
subsequent to the
running
drink.
from your problems.
Yeah.
When you accept the fact that like life is a series of unfortunate events that I can't do much about, So it's just on me to whatever the next problem is. It's just on me to find my way through it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it gets so much fucking easy. All the stress and anxiety and all the like, I want to kill myself. I can't manage all these problems. You're trying to take on too much.
Mhm.
Manage today and just accept that there's
It takes all the bad out of it. It
Yeah.
takes all the fucking power out of a fucking bad thing that happened, right? And understanding that sometimes things are just happening. They're not happening to me.
The universe
Yeah,
exists
some of
whether
the-
you are here
Bro,
or not.
you know how like that perspective, that perspective change in my life changed everything for me when I understood that red light just changed. It didn't change because of me or to me.
You don't
It
know.
just changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a very simple,
Right.
like just distilled version of it. But it's more of like sometimes things just
Change.
happen
Yeah,
and things
sometimes.
just change, dude. And it's not changing to me because of me. And how ignorant am I and egotistical am I to think that I had anything to fucking do with that anyway?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's it's pretty powerful.
Well, we could keep having this conversation for a long
Yeah.
time. It's like one of my favorite. We got into the realm of philosophy and like being self-determined and like why. I had a great phrase said to me yesterday. They said, it was like just a brain ramble, but I loved it. They said, what is passion? Where does passion come from? How do we experience passion? How do we feel passion? How do we define passion? Like, I love just letting my brain run down stuff like that. And it removes a lot of anxiety because I'm not all of a
Yeah.
sudden now I'm just
You're trying to figure that out.
I'm just thinking very deeply about one very specific, simple fucking thing. Like, what is passion?
Yeah.
Let your brain run on something simple like that for 6 hours and tell me how often you think about like the stress of your mortgage.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Enjoy your brain, man.
Yeah, just
we don't
enjoy
enjoy our brain. We're constantly hiding from it. We're constantly taking medications. We're taking antidepressants and alcohol and
Yeah, absolutely.
just
Constantly
enjoy it.
fucking-
Yeah, on our phones.
Yeah. Oh man, phones are the worst, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you guys do the same thing I do.
You know, it's
I think
You know
this
what,
is
you know,
super respectful.
this. It's something that I heard from Simon Sinek. This is not an original thought. Have you ever watched anything
Yeah,
by Simon Sinek? I love that dude.
Mhm.
He said, "This, even putting your phone face down in a meeting, is not the answer.
Mm-mm.
Turning it off, putting it
Away.
away."
Yeah.
That's the right. Yeah, and this is respectful. Yeah, not having it in your hand, not looking at it.
Yeah.
But the next level to that, if you really want to level up, it's removing it.
Yeah.
From the
And not
equation.
have, because by this being here is like, you're important right now
But-
until something
Yeah.
happens on this thing.
sake of the
And
argument.
then you're not important anymore.
This is why I didn't give a shit about getting a phone until recently.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
need to be interacting with
Had to feel
anybody.
great
I
not
didn't
having
need to
a
be on
phone.
Instagram. I didn't need to be worrying about making MMT content. I needed to be focused here on what I was doing every day, and getting a phone was just low priority.
Let me tell you how.
But I'm back.
Let me tell you how a 2-year-old can distinguish between the importance of having a phone and spending time with you. I was sitting with my 2-year-old thinking to myself, I'm playing with him, in quotes, but I also have emails that I need to check. And so I'm on my phone doing whatever it is that I'm doing. My son is playing right next to me, and he doesn't speak a whole lot of words. He knows no and dada and mama and a couple other things.
And
you know,
now Nolan.
and sit and Nolan. Now
Hell
Nolan,
yeah.
he said that the
Nice.
other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
was pumped on that one.
he
dude.
was sitting there and he grabbed, and I was on my phone, and he stopped what he was doing, and he took my phone away and he went and set it on the chair, and then he came back over to me and he said, "No, play."
Hell
2
yeah.
years old, dude. He was like, for some reason, that thing he has in his hand, I don't know what it is, but it's more important than me right now.
He has no definitional concept of what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
He
He's
has
like,
no
but whatever
idea
that
what he's
is
doing.
more important than me right now. No.
No.
play.
Have kids.
Have kids.
kids.
Have kids. And
Have
that's
kids.
And that is I think that's a good thing
That's
to
a
sum
wrap.
it up with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can teach you a lot.
Just this last little touch. I was telling my buddy recently, longtime childhood friend of mine who recently just broke up with his girlfriend. They split, and I told him the same thing, right? Like one door closes, another door opens. He's like, yeah, it's hard to see that right now. I go, yeah, it's hard to see a door opening when you're staring at the door closing.
Dude, that's good
It is,
too.
It is.
That's good
That's
too.
very true.
As soon as those hinges start to squeak, you need to let it go.
That's it.
Let it go.
Yep.
Accept it. Just
That's right.
accept it. That is why I like the whole like accept things you can't.
And then if
change,
you
right?
stand there and stare at the fucking closed door the entire time,
Yeah.
Right.
looking in the past.
Don't listen to sad music when you're sad. Be deliberate.
And with that,
no, see, I'm serious. Like, don't listen to sad music when you're fucking sad. Be deliberate about
with what you listen to. When you're in the car, I will say this. My future ex-wife, I don't know how to address some of that right now, but I would get in her car sometimes and we would start driving somewhere. She had an hour commute either way, so 2 hours a day in the car, and there would be fucking radio static in the car. Just, she would drive for an hour and listen to just white noise radio static on the radio.
that should have been a cue.
It's a red flag that I probably missed. But my point with it was the moment that I realized like how deliberate I am with my music. And I it's something I push on other people now. Build playlists for yourself. Actually give a shit about music in your life. There is something bigger about music. There's a reason that humans used to get together and sing in a circle every night outside of their tiki torches. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about that connects us to something bigger than us. There's a reason that you worship in church. There's something behind it. And if you are very deliberate with what you listen to, you can control your mood, and then your mood affects every decision you make in your day, how you interact with everyone else, and the way you interact with other people then affects how they interact with other people. And it all started by you being deliberate with what you put on when you took a shower this morning. You know, you didn't wake up and immediately look at fucking porn before you got out of bed.
Yeah.
You picked a
Hey,
song.
you fucking watch yourself.
Yeah. Come on. That's like coffee for me.
Just be deliberate. What goes in is what's going to come out.
Yeah, the past. Like I love that. I like the music thing, and that in the past thing, that shutting the door thing. I know we've like just been sitting on the door thing for a long time, but
It's good though.
But when you stare at that door, when you stare at the closed door, it's akin to living in the past, and the past will never ever serve you. You should never be willing to completely shut the fucking door on your past. We can learn a lot from it and understand from it, but it will never serve you. Like if you stared at the closed door, you'll never look for the other open one. If we just live in that past will never come back and serve us in some way, shape, or form. It is impossible. We can all. It's a finite truth that your past will not serve other than experience.
It'll never change.
It'll
I
never
think that's what you're
change.
looking for is that it'll never change.
It will never change, and so it's just we have. You know, I don't know.
That's an interesting thing with like alcohol and other, I don't want to call them weed drugs. I think that's dumb. But when you drink,
it's a drug.
Yeah. Well, alcohol and weed, it's all drugs.
Yeah.
Caffeine's a drug. But like, there's something weird about when you drink. Like, you can go in any bar in the world, and alcohol is a depressant.
Right.
You know? And so there's something about like drinking alcohol that sticks you where you are. You get stuck where you are. You get stuck every time you drink. You listen to the same fucking sad song, and you think about the same old girl that broke your heart when you were 13 years old, and you're a 40-year-old man now. You know what I mean? Like, you get, but like the legal drugs are the ones that make you not stuck.
Don't ask
They're
questions.
the ones that expand your
Stop
mind.
thinking.
Like,
Stop thinking.
The illegal
That's
ones.
weird.
Yeah, the illegal ones. Yeah, the I can't get the hallucinogenics and the DMT to open up my mind to think of another way of
I'm
living.
not recommending anything.
And with that,
With that,
we bid thee
a queef.
queef.